When you're authentic to who you are, everything else will fall in place. People are gonna love, they're gonna hate, but you never know who's watching.
Everything I do, I want it to be as original as can be.
Somebody did it like this, I'm gonna do it this much iller.
Who comes back and rescues himself?
This was our moment to let people know how we felt as a team.
We revolutionized this game with our influence.
They're coming for the belt, and they're coming for the bag.
They're all about knocking each other out of the tournament.
Yes, I'm on a mission.
The $1 million Bellator Lightweight Grand Prix begins with a monster match. Undefeated 24-year-old champ Usman Nurmagomedov makes his first title defense against 30-win veteran Benson Henderson.
Oh, yeah. I'm a certified winner.
Bellator MMA, Friday on Showtime.
I've been investigating Ghostface attacks. He's here in New York.
Hello, Gail. Did you miss me?
You want to try and finish this? Go ahead.
I'm something different.
We've got to lure him in. We execute him.
Scream. Only in theaters March 10th.
It's happening. It's really happening. Saturday, April 22nd, Showtime pay-per-view. Gervonta Tank Davis, King Ryan Garcia, two unbeaten stars will square off. But today, some 45 days out from the fight, the two fighters will be behind us in just a few moments, going face-to-face for the first time. Welcome into Showtime Sports coverage of the Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia weigh-in from here in Times Square in New York City. My name is Brian Campbell. This is Luke Thomas. You may know us as the co-host of Showtime Digital's award-winning combat sports series, Morning Combat. But Luke Thomas, today it's about two unbeaten lightweight superstars putting it all on the line. 28 years old, Tank Davis, 24 years old, Ryan Garcia. How big is this fight going to be? April 22nd.
I really can't wait. This is so exciting, and it's interesting. The winner of this, the fight's going to take place at 136 pounds, but you would imagine that the winner will have some bragging rights, obviously. Their winner will put themselves at or near the top of the division among all the respected 135ers, but it's more than that. It's two of the youngest stars in boxing, two of the hottest contenders, champions certainly in the case of Gervonta Davis, but more than that, BC, who wants to be the face of boxing? Who wants to be the guy that carries it forward for the next few years, not on the cover of the Wheaties box, but certainly as the face that everyone knows is the hottest ticket, the biggest star in the sport of boxing? A fight like this can tell us that.
Both of these young fighters will be on the stage behind us soon as we set the stage before and stay with us after today's press conference, as both fighters will join us on this stage right here. But the anticipation could not be any bigger. As I mentioned, out T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas in a fight that wasn't the easiest to make, but you've got to give credit to both of these young unbeaten fighters who basically said, I want to be, as you mentioned, potentially the face of this sport, but I got to go through another elite for that to happen. What can you speak to when you talk about the makeup, the character of both of these? They're not waiting until they're age 35. They want it right now.
Yeah, that's the other point, too, right? Two undefeated fighters, one at fight time 28 versus 24 years old. That's an important detail, obviously. But more than that, in terms of wanting it, listen, we all know the reality. They didn't have to take this fight. They could have taken someone else. The people would have moaned about it, but probably still watched anyway. But that's not the path they wanted to take. This is not the path of least resistance. They elected to take the path of most resistance, most difficulty at a time when they most didn't have to. When at the time, both undefeated records, they have the most to lose. You have to have a lot of respect for them as businessmen because they're going to do big business, and they should, but you have to have respect for the athletic courage that it takes to put risk on the line when you basically, besides the dollars and everything else, you don't have to do it. Sure. They chose to do it. Huge, huge difference in a sport right now where, let's be honest, not enough headliners are doing that.
Well, look, I call it daring to be great. It's saying I want to find out right now how good I can be. They're going to find out against one another. As Luke mentioned, a 136-pound catchweight bout. April 22nd. Let's look at the records of these two. A combined 51-0 with 45 KOs. Tank Davis, at least in my voting, among the 10 best fighters in the world, pound for pound at this moment, multi-division champion. We know the power he carries as possibly the Mike Tyson of the lower weight classes, which is what we used to call him. Now, obviously, a complete pound for pound fighter. But Ryan Garcia, not as, let's say, experienced at the super elite level as Tank Davis, but we talk a lot about the word intention. I know you're going to tell me about Ryan Garcia's speed, his power. What about his willingness to make it a fight come April 22nd?
I think he's absolutely going to do that. And again, it's not just a willingness to make a big fight where you can make a bunch of money. It's a willingness to take on an extremely difficult opponent. And listen, we talk about this a lot, and people overstate the importance of confidence. Like, yeah, everybody in this sport has confidence, but not everybody in the sport has confidence in this particular kind of way, seeking out the most difficult opponents and believing that the style he already has is already the problem solver for that guy. He already believes right now, if the fight was today, he could do it. He believed when this fight was made, or at least even talked about, that he was, if not destined, BC, the perfect fit for this opponent and to be this guy at this time. It is maybe they believe in higher powers, maybe they believe in fate, maybe they believe in destiny, but that kind of self-belief in alignment with that beautiful left hook that he has, the ridiculous speed and the power, that combines into a potent force for Tank Davis to deal with on April 22nd.
Obviously, when you talk about the size difference, Ryan Garcia going to be 4.5 inches taller on fight night. A difficult type of test for Tank Davis for sure. We love the critical sides of it, but commercially, these are two of the biggest stars in the sport already, even at this young age. Tank Davis, a proven pay-per-view headliner, sold out arenas all over this country. We know what he brings in box office bang. We know what Tank Davis brings in attracting a celebrity clientele from the worlds of hip-hop, entertainment, all that. Ryan Garcia's a different kind of self-made, though, a new generation, something like 9 million Instagram followers, people younger than us that maybe wouldn't watch the sport. They watch a dynamic young star who wants to be great. From that standpoint, you're almost bringing in boxing. This does have the opportunity to be that type of crossover thing that makes headlines in multiple areas.
It's why everyone else has to be excited. Will this necessarily lead to other headliners taking more initiative to make another fight? Maybe, maybe not. We'll have to see. Only time will tell. But what I do think is going to be great about it, as you pointed out, this mixing of the fan bases, this youth movement in boxing. If you look around right now, and in addition to Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, and you say, who really wants the smoke? And when I say really, I mean signing on the dotted line. It's a lot of the younger guys in boxing, even though they're already some high achievers. They're bringing that energy to this, along with their younger fan bases. Boxing could use a little kick in the pants like this, a little shot in the arm. It's a great celebration of the sport. It's why we watch. Truly, this is what you wait for. You wait for something that can bang the box office like this. You wait for something where there's a ton of stakes involved. You wait for something new. By the way, not a rematch. We're not reheating old dishes.
Sure.
This is a brand new one. That's why it's so exciting.
It's fighters on the so-called opposite sides of the street, yet they pushed to make this fight happen. So, Luke Thomas, we've seen some back and forth on social media in the build-up, yet they had to work together to make this fight happen. How do you expect today, behind us on the dais, they're going to face off for the first time before answering questions? We'll see a little bit of back and forth. Will it be businessmen up there? Will it be fighters? Will it get a little saucy? What are your expectations?
I think they quietly, and maybe even not so quietly, respect each other, right? Don't you get that vibe a little bit? I certainly get that.
Well, Calvin Hill, we've seen him, the trainer of Gervonta Davis. Calvin Ford, excuse me. They know that Ryan Garcia is coming for it.
Right.
Whether you're going to favor Tank or you're going to favor King Ryan, they know he's coming in there to win it, and he's hungry. And I think sometimes at this level, there are levels to the hungriness, right? He's coming in here, like you said, taking on risk, willing to risk it all.
And I think as businessmen inside the boxing community, in these particular cases as competitors, they kind of respect what either one is doing. I'll say this. Tank is usually pretty demure during press conferences. It will depend on what kind of energy Ryan Garcia brings to this one, actually, and Tank will respond in kind. If Ryan is pretty professional and doesn't say a whole lot crazy, neither will he. But I do believe that if Ryan comes in guns blazing today, you will probably see some kind of response in kind from Tank Davis.
Both fighters very young in their careers were sort of nabbed as future potential stars that could be the face of the sport. Of course, we know that Tank Davis, formerly promoted by Floyd Mayweather. Floyd had long said, this is the guy that will follow me in line. But on the flip side, we've known about Ryan Garcia basically since he was a teenager in California. He's got the celebrity promotion of Oscar De La Hoya, Bernard Hopkins, Golden Boy behind him. There seems to be a poise to him that you can question, can he take Davis's big punch? I don't know that answer until April 22nd on Showtime pay-per-view, but I do know that Ryan carries himself with a certain level of poise that sometimes belies his young age of 24.
Also, the fact that he is sort of a young, handsome guy, it actually works for him and against him, but for him. Here's what I mean. Right? Obviously, it's great to be young and look like that and all that kind of stuff, but on top of it, it makes your critics even more emboldened. Oh, the pretty guy can't fight. Oh, he hasn't fought anybody. Whatever they want to say, it actually makes them kind of root against him a little bit. Obviously, he's made a dramatic following, but what I'm saying is either way, he draws eyeballs. Either way, people are curious to see, is he the real deal? Is he not? And I can tell you this, with an opponent like Tank Davis, you're going to get a great answer to that on April 22nd.
Well, it's sometimes ahead of big fights, what we don't know about a fighter, and in this case, Ryan Garcia on this level, right? He obviously had a breakthrough win in 2021, getting up off the canvas to knock out former title contender Luke Campbell and actually send him into retirement. Since then, though, he's been in and out of the ring, had some personal issues that he's cleared up behind that, had some injuries. He's back now, but whether it's us or whether it's Calvin Ford and Gervonta Tank Davis, they don't actually know how high that ceiling is. We use the term a lot in our show, Morning Combat, upper bound limits. It's what we don't know about Ryan Garcia that can make that a very dangerous proposition for Gervonta Davis come fight night. And I think that goes a long way because ideally, if you're maybe handling Ryan Garcia, you would have wanted him to take a few steps higher up the ladder to fully know. All we can take is the snippets and the comeback. He's had 2 straight wins, that second one by knockout. We know that he's dangerous, but we're going to find out on that night, in the biggest night of his career, just how dangerous. Tank Davis, a little bit more tape on him, right? We know what he brings to the table. That unknown sometimes is the secret sauce in making a big fight seem even more exciting with that big potential.
And the best part is people think it's binary. He'll either look better than you expect or worse than you expect. And the reality is it can go in both directions at the same time.
Sure.
You could find out his offense is even better. His power is even more dynamic. His speed is just truly, even against guys at this level, something that they're not going to be able to deal with. Conversely, you might find some other kind of deficiency. It's never one or the other. It's always a composite picture, and that's what makes it most exciting. I'll also say for Tank Davis, the speed of Ryan Garcia, his power also not to be trifled with. The combination punching he puts together early in fights. And also, we should talk about it, since switching to Goosen, this kind of, he's always had swag, but he's got a real in-your-face, finger-in-your-chest kind of swag. He's beating down the door, ready for the world to accept him, and he thinks that acceptance runs through Gervonta Davis at the T-Mobile Arena in Vegas on April 22nd. We will find out then if he's right.
Well, we mentioned the venerable Calvin Ford as the head man behind Gervonta Davis. You teased there. Goosen is Joe Goosen, the legendary trainer. And I mean, he talked about the word, would you say swag? Who has more swag when it comes to the sartorial splendor than Joe Goosen? Does that guy have 7, 8, 9 Canadian tuxedos in the closet? But when it comes,
not enough denim.
When it comes to the actual ring, though, we know him as one of the more aggressive offensive coaches. But he's also been really working hard with Ryan on keeping that chin tucked on some of the defensive elements that, look, we're talking about a 24-year-old fighter who is growing fight by fight. It's going to be interesting to see where that maturity is. I believe this will be their 3rd fight together coming into this one. Good guy in his corner, has him fired up, meaning Ryan Garcia confident, ready to go. This has all the makings to be very, very explosive, as you mentioned there. I am interested to see, though, when they go face-to-face. You're going to see that 4.5-inch height advantage for Ryan Garcia, which will certainly open your eyes. Reach-wise, though, I believe Ryan Garcia has a 2.5-inch reach advantage.
Not huge.
We're going to talk to Tank Davis later, and I'm sure he'll tell you, look, I fought tall guys my whole career, and he certainly has. But has he fought the type of tall guys that have that speed?
Right.
And speed can be power when you have that type of torque and leverage like Ryan Garcia does. This is going to be a very special night come April 22nd. Who is going to be in the power position moving forward of this young crop of fighters that we're talking about? A lot of them from the U.S. who want to make the big matchups right now. Even though there's, let's say, no major title at stake in this one, you almost don't need it with the star power and what's at stake when you prove yourself at that highest level.
Honestly, if you obviously we don't have the pay-per-view for sale yet. It will be available soon. Obviously, keep it locked for Showtime social media for details. But the point about it is, obviously, when it goes for sale, it's going to be gangbusters. You kind of indicated it before, BC. The combining of the fan bases, it's going to make for an interesting interesting mix, I think, on that night.
Ryan Garcia, Mexican-American fighter. We know that aggressive, amazing, energetic fan base as being a backbone of the sport for many years, but he also has that younger crowd that we mentioned. He can take his shirt off and sing on Instagram, and the clicks just keep piling up. I don't have that ability.
No, we don't do that.
No, I don't really do that. But on the flip side with Tank Davis, how many times have we seen celebrity row there?
Right.
That's an athlete that you don't have to be a pure fan of the sweet science to really understand what he does. Oh, he can fight that way if he has to. But he's become, you know, I might use that term that we have in the past, the Mike Tyson of the lower weight classes. You know a lot about the MMA worlds. We cover both. Even to MMA fans, it seems like Tank Davis is their favorite fighter. Why do you think so?
They love power punchers. Everybody loves power punchers. You just ask casual fans. By the way, speaking of the title, if you asked a casual fan what title's on the line for this one, they either wouldn't know, wouldn't care. It's not relevant anyway, but I'm just sort of pointing out that's not why people want to watch this. But getting back to Gervonta Davis, they love dynamic power punchers. I mean, pick which one you want. Do you want the win? How about Leo Santa Cruz that's been on the background here the whole time? Just one of the most vicious knockouts. And we could go on down the list. There's been many, not quite as good as that one in my judgment, but pretty dang good the whole way. How about Hector Garcia in Washington, D.C.? Didn't even lost. Let's remember this. Why was that fight called? Hector Garcia couldn't see, and it wasn't because his eye socket was broken, which is a typical way in which you get swelling over the eye. He got hit in the head so hard, he just got blinded for about an hour or so, and then it went away. That's like getting hit in the head with a hammer, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it does to you, and that's what Tank Davis did. Certainly we can say this. Ryan Garcia is a force to be reckoned with. That's why this fight is so exciting. He has not fought a power puncher like that.
Not on that level. There's going to be a lot that he will show us come fight night, April 22nd. And Tank Davis, you mentioned January 7th of this year on Showtime pay-per-view in your home city of Washington, D.C. He did take on Hector Luis Garcia, the unbeaten at the time 130-pound champion who moved up in weight. We got to see Tank's ability to be that counter fighter, to play chess with him. But that power is just so different when it hits the mark, especially late in a fight, because we know Tank Davis, a little bit like his former promoter Floyd Mayweather, can take some time early in a fight, can read what's in front of him, make those adjustments. Once he starts to, as we say, walk downhill, corner you, get closer, he typically ends the fights 28-0 with 26 knockouts up to this point. In Ryan Garcia's 2 comeback fights over the past year, we saw one go the distance against Emmanuel Tagoe. We saw him come back against another veteran fighter and get a nice stoppage victory. And we know Javier Fortuna. We know the body puncher that Ryan Garcia is becoming. Like I said, at 24, does he have the same experience as Tank? Not exactly. But what have you seen in this comeback under Joe Goosen that shows you he's ready for this challenge?
It's funny. He's gotten, I don't know about more aggressive, but he's got a very consistent level of aggression. But what's interesting is you mentioned, like, we saw, obviously, the first real body shot KO, the biggest one in my judgment that he had anyway, against Luke Campbell, right? Getting dropped, getting back in the fight was an accomplishment itself, and then punishing him with the body there. So he has certainly, over time since then, become an even better and more prodigious body puncher. And by the way, he dropped Fortuna with a body shot as well. Same kind of punch. However, this is the biggest difference to me. The biggest one is, while he has maintained his aggression, I have noticed his defense has gotten actually a little bit better. Certainly in the Fortuna fight, it was a little bit better. Although, yes, Fortuna was a little bit reserved, I think is a fair way to put that. Nevertheless, just the decision-making about engagement, shot selection, there's a level of refinement that I think Goosen has brought to Garcia. Didn't change his style, but he tweaked it. He modified it. He just slightly changed it this way. One of the biggest issues that Garcia faces, he fights on straight lines a lot, in and out. That's going to be a problem for him because a guy like Tank Davis can fight at angles. That's going to be a big thing. But at the same time, when he goes, how he presses, how he sets it up, how he finishes, has gotten just a lot cleaner, a lot better, a lot smoother in my judgment, and it's no accident.
Sometimes it's just that right relationship at the right time. Look no different than Ryan Garcia's promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, the Hall of Famer, the Golden Boy. Many times during his careers, he would go in a different direction with the trainer, get a different look. Maybe it was a better relationship at the time. Joe Goosen can take what's already there, as you said, mold it a little bit, but one thing I don't think he's doing is trying to make Ryan Garcia any less dangerous. You want to make him a little bit more responsible defensively, but that danger is a big part of it. So when it comes to Gervonta Davis welcoming that danger, he can be a student of the game for 1, 2, even 3 rounds, taking notes, downloading the info. It might take him a little bit to navigate that speed of Ryan Garcia, especially if he starts building behind that jab. if Ryan can commit to boxing for some of those stretches, there's that opportunity to build some rounds.
Right.
But does he have the punch resistance when the fight turns in the second half? That's something he can only prove inside the ring, T-Mobile Arena.
No doubt about it. This is the interesting part. You could see a scenario easily, where Ryan Garcia is through, let's say, 6 rounds, up on 4 of those rounds, 5, maybe even all 6, because Tank sometimes can be a slow starter and certainly is a little slow to react. Even in the Rolly Romero fight, took his time for the finish. Santa Cruz fight, took his time for the finish, including during a stretch. That round where Santa Cruz got finished, that was, up until he got KO'd, that was his best round of the fight. But the power and the accuracy and the timing, because it all works together, of Tank Davis is quite literally a game changer, a fight changer, a fight ender. He's got the one-hitter quitter whenever he wants, late in fights. It's such a problem for anyone in that weight class to deal with.
And it's not just the power. It's not the speed. It's not the timing. And a lot of times it comes down to the efficiency. In some ways, although their styles are different, I can compare Gervonta Davis to what he does best to what Canelo Alvarez does best. Currently, your undisputed champion, 168 pounds. Lower the output, be that sniper, that counter shot, but never put yourself in a bad position. Waiting for that moment, looking to set up that moment. When you have the ability to end the fight with one shot and you're that patient to make sure you're not putting yourself in danger, you're going to make the younger fighter, in this case Ryan Garcia, have to play chess with you, have to try to figure you out. So many reasons to love this fight. Those are just one of them. The highlights are playing behind us. The fighters will be here shortly on the dais as they field questions from the media. They field questions from one another. Saturday, April 22nd in the big arena. I mean, I've always got love for the MGM Grand. So many great fights there.
There are some great ones.
You put it in T-Mobile, you put it in the big arena. There is a lot of big business to come. And when we talk about big business and we talk about the people behind the scenes, whose job it is to make that big business a reality, I always say, look, Ryan Garcia, the fighter, pushed hard to make this happen. But we're talking about our colleague, the boss, Showtime Sports. We call him Showtime Sports President these days. There's so many titles, they change often. He's the man, he's the boss, he's Stephen Espinoza. And Stephen,
welcome, Stephen.
Great
it's
to
a pleasure. Is this my first official appearance on the stream? I'm not sure.
I think so. You have been in the Morning Combat studio before.
That's true, absolutely.
And he didn't let us go afterwards,
luxurious.
So that was a good start.
The luxurious Morning Combat studio.
Right.
Stephen, we've had a great time setting the stage for this before the fighters will be behind us on the stage in just a few moments. We talk about how big this is. Your job is to look for fights like this on the horizon and make them. This does hit those boxes that not every fight can do, the younger demographic, the celebrity clientele. Have you ever seen a fight exactly like this when they're this young, in some cases not fully proven?
Well, I think one of the things, and I don't want to put this fight in a box, and I don't want to reduce these guys to sort of social media phenomenon, but it is sort of the first fight that has this kind of social media presence. Certainly guys like Canelo have a big presence, but to have two guys in the core social media demographic with huge fan bases and legitimate fighters. I'm not discounting what the influencers are doing. We've done some of that as well. Sure. But this is, a social media promotion. These guys are legitimate boxers, very talented. I don't think they get the credit they deserve for being skilled boxers. But at the same time, they're obviously bringing in fans beyond the core base.
They're brands, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's two Titan brands. It's Coke and Pepsi. I mean, obviously I'm overstating it a little bit, but what I mean is, are people watching this because of the implications about a title or the future of the weight class? I'm sure some are in the weight class idea, but really why they're watching it is because you have a huge star who's super young and undefeated versus another huge star who's super young and undefeated, and they have their own fan bases, and they're clashing. It's Godzilla versus Mothra.
No, that absolutely right, and two very different fan bases. Different geographically. I mean, obviously they both travel, but Ryan's fan base is really strong. Southern California, the Southwest, Mexican American, Latino community. Tank, his core is East Coast. Although he has obviously done well across the country as well. So two very different fan bases, two very engaged fan bases, and really two different fighters. I mean, you can't really boil it down to speed versus power, but that's one of the themes. Tank's power versus Ryan's speed.
And Tank certainly, if there's a key edge, a little bit more experience at the highest level. He's 4 years older at 28. But I got to give a lot of credit to Ryan Garcia, and you're a boxing fan. I'm sure you appreciate not only his fun style, but at 24, going out of his way to make a fight this difficult.
No, absolutely. And look, Ryan's heard the criticism. When you have a social media fan base as big as he has, and he's a good-looking kid, people want to discount his credentials and say, look, he's a hype job. He isn't. You don't get a 15-time national amateur champion, just on the strength of being a good social media follow. He is a skilled boxer and probably doesn't get the credit that he deserves either.
During the time it took to make this fight, there were a ton of people who were like, nope, not going to get made, forget it. And you always remained really positive. Never like conclusive, but definitely pretty positive.
Why do we have so many doomsday people in boxing with the sign on the side of the street,
But as recently as yesterday, by the way, people saying this isn't going to happen.
But my question to you is this. What was going on that you maintained such optimism about the chances to make this fight?
It's a great question. And it really is the reason, I think, the fundamental reason this fight got made. And that was the commitment of these two fighters, the commitment of Tank and Ryan. Because there were plenty of places they could have taken an exit ramp. They could have taken the off-ramp, taken another opportunity, and they didn't. And we've seen other negotiations fall apart because one guy or the other got impatient or got tempted by another deal or went to chase some other money or a different opponent. Mm-hmm. That certainly could have been the case here, but these guys remained focused and did not take any other opportunity, were not distracted, said no matter what they were being advised, no matter what opportunity was put in front of them, they said, no, I want this fight. This is the fight. You guys don't come back to me until the answer is the deal's done.
I know that this fight had a few possible locations, MGM, Allegiant. It ended up in T-Mobile. Why T-Mobile?
Well, look, I love MGM. I think, we were looking for a slightly bigger venue than that. I would have loved to be Allegiant. There are some challenges in terms of the production there, which, at some point, we will be there. I think at some point in the near future, that's still a to-do list. I think it's going to be a phenomenal arena for boxing. It just worked out, on a short time frame, and where we were in the calendar. Going to something that was a little bit more familiar was probably the easier thing.
Well, look, that's one giant date on the calendar, April 22nd, that us boxing fans are circling with a big smile. But it's been a big rollout of the first half for Showtime Sports in terms of the commitment to boxing. We're in the midst of, 9 cards in 10 weeks? Mm-hmm. I've been loving this, okay? I've been loving this.
Yeah, it's been good.
What do you think that says for sort of the final time? I know you made the media rounds this week and touched on this a couple times, but this shows huge commitment in this space for Showtime Boxing, and when you go week to week, it's like a menu at a diner. There's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. There's all action here. There's title versus title here. There's Bad Blood with Plant and Benavidez come March 25th. What do you think this rollout says about this?
Well, it says busy for one thing. It says 14 events over the first 6 months of the year, and we're not even done layering in some of the fighters who are not on the schedule. But busy in a high-quality type of way. Showbox has always been a unique destination for high-quality up-and-comers. But as we saw this past weekend, not the biggest names, but great action. So it's sort of at every tier, from Showbox all the way up to pay-per-view, high-quality fights. And high-quality cards, we've got some title fights as opening fights on the 3-fight cards. Mm. So it was really an attempt to do quality top to bottom. And like you said, the variety, not just names, but from every conceivable facet, from young up-and-comers to, a kid who just had a breakout performance, Elijah Garcia, who all of a sudden just burst onto the scene with a huge victory this past weekend. Fights from Australia this coming weekend, Zoo Harrison.
We called Trayvon Marshall on the prelims last week. A lot of young fighters getting some opportunities here.
Absolutely. And look, this is the rising tide that lifts all boats. When you have fights like Benavidez Plant, when you have fights like Davis Garcia, there's an enthusiasm that permeates everything else. Yeah. And it elevates the level of action. These guys are competitive. They see good fights. When you come off of 3 really high-intensity fights last weekend, nobody wants to be the one who breaks the streak, comes in with a stinker.
For sure. And thanks for getting Rolly Romero back. I mean, I'm a super fan, all right? The guy is instant entertainment. Stephen Espinoza, thank you for your time. We can't wait for this fight, April 22nd. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Stephen.
Luke Thomas, we will be graced with the presence of another guest in just a moment. When you talk about one of the OG trainers in boxing today, a father figure to so many young fighters.
A very noticeable person, a very unique look.
Yeah, I mean, do I apologize for accidentally saying Calvin Hill earlier? Do I apologize for that? Certainly.
Why don't you tell him we did that?
All right, all right.
I mean, you've only been watching boxing for 20 years.
Just moments away from Calvin Ford, the trainer of Gervonta Tank Davis. Baltimore in the house, or just
Baltimore, Charm City in the house.
Charm City, wow. And taking a seat right now, the venerable Calvin Ford, a reservoir of wisdom, all right, to many a young fighter. But for Gervonta Tank Davis, Calvin, and we're very appreciate you sitting down.
Thank you for taking the Bluetooth out and putting the headphones on. I always see you with that Bluetooth.
Thank you.
When you know Tank better than anyone, you know, you've seen him grow emotionally in the ring, all of that. This is a big fight. It's a little bit different than the normal pay-per-view.
Yeah.
We're giving so much credit to both fighters for wanting this. How can you speak to Tank's intention that it had to be Ryan Garcia this time?
Well, like I said, if you go back and watch all the interviews, this fight been rolling for years when they first came into the game, to tell you the truth. And I give Ron his salute, signing the paper and wanting to make this fight. You got to give him his props. You know, this fight is the fight of the fights. I call it the Generation X fight. This is like when you see Oscar and Floyd for it. This is their Oscar and Floyd right here. Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. I'm excited.
I'm fired up too.
Wait, give me an assessment. Ryan Garcia's biggest strength, biggest weakness. What?
Everything, because he's here.
What do you mean?
Everybody says his hook side. I don't. You know, he got a great coach in his corner, old school. You know what I'm saying? Best that did it. You know, so right now you got to look at everything. You just can't go on that. In your mind is just one thing. You got to let the fight unfold. We just working, and I'm watching Tank doing everything we ask. It's this fight. I can't wait.
Well, we've heard you describe Ryan Garcia to Tank on video as hungry. That seems to be the word. How do you prepare for hungry?
You got to eat too. Who belly gonna get filled first? Who belly gonna get filled first? Well, right now, man, y'all don't feel the energy. Y'all don't understand. You know that these two guys gonna go in there that night. I just can't wait to the face-off, to tell you the truth.
Were you confident this fight was going to get made?
I try not to put anything in the world. I just keep it to myself and let it play out. You got to let it play out because we're seeing so many things happen in boxing. So what you do is just let it do what it do. We don't talk. We do what it do.
How would you assess Gervonta's ability? Because, look, there's times the personal life can bled into the professional, and you can have headlines for things going on outside, and Gervonta Davis at times has had that happen. How is he able to just pause that and still be that dynamic force and his focus, his poise, his patience? It's one of his most elite skills.
Well, it's his upbringing in the ring. You know, he got a mixture of a lot of things that we put into him. Like y'all don't understand. He's built for this. He's actually built for this. So when we see controversy, we deal with it because that's part of growing. That's part of growing. And everybody always look at Tank. But Tank he's different. What I meant by he's humble. His lessons, everything that we go through, there are lessons in life to become who you're going to become. If you look at all the greats went through things. And look who they are today. And that's what I can't wait. Just let him go through his transition. And this fight right here is stepping into that next level. Yeah. The level.
In terms of, you always thought Tank would be here. In terms of his development, when did you know he was ready for this fight? When did you know he was ready for a major step up?
When he asked for it. If y'all look at some of the sayings that we saying, the time is now. It's now for these fights. You know, he did his transition with Mayweather Promotion, and he had that teaching, that tutoring with him. You know what I'm saying? So y'all don't understand. Everything that he did in life or going through in life is part of the lessons of becoming who he's going to become.
They're playing the Tank highlights behind us, Ryan Garcia as well, and it's like I could focus on that beautiful knockout of Leo Santa Cruz or the way he made Rolly Romero come forward. Has there been a moment yet in the great highlight reel of your fighter where you were like, damn, even I was impressed.
No. Tank know how. everybody know how I am. I like to see that fight, that old school fight. The one that gets me the most when you got the guy from out of Jersey, that Floyd fought, and
Arturo Gatti?
Arturo Gatti, and what's his name? When both of them,
Mickey Ward.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, you're speaking to me right now. Okay, yeah.
That's a fight. You know what I'm saying? Nobody don't care, and they just kept doing it. You know, when I see a fight like that, I can do like this. That's a fight. Because they both bit down and stirred fervor and just, you know, we make it do what it do.
Calvin, are you like a visualization guy? Do you see in your mind what the fight's going to look like?
Well, I try to explain it to you. I look at it, and then me coming up, I watch boxing all the time. Then I got my friend Kenny Ellis. I call him the Bible. He really goes and look at it because when I don't believe in looking at fights so much because your head get cloudy and you looking for things. So we try to just keep, he do what he do, I do what I do, the whole team doing what they doing, and we looking at how to put together the building the fight the way we need to fight unspoken. We sit back and watch fights and say, yo, that's camp. That's actually camp. And when he put it together, and Tank is so brilliant in the ring, that's my Michael Jordan in that ring.
I like that.
I just don't know which quarter he's going to take over.
What do you have about? I didn't get a chance to talk to you after his fight against Hector Luis Garcia.
That was
Tank's performance.
Hey, when I sit back and watch it, it was shots that we was working on and how he put it together. But the thing had got me. He was in the corner looking around, but he was talking back to us. He was talking it, and way how he was putting them shots together, and then Garcia was popping back. I said, oh, okay, all right. And Tank was rolling with shots, catching shots, putting shots together, and I was like, okay, he coming into himself now. This the part I'm starting to see. He's starting to be a coach inside the ring.
Oh, I like that. Earlier, you gave respect to Ryan Garcia's longtime veteran coach, Joe Goosen. Calvin, you're a man of, like, style. Could I say swagger? You have a swagger to you. Joe Goosen's, he dresses like like he's about to go out to the club on the regular. Do you have respect for that game or what?
Let me explain something to you. I had Mel Ellis here, Kenny's daughter, and they said, Coach, why you trying to make sure your swag right? I said, yo, you don't know Joe. I said, pull up him. And she went there, and then I got my other son, Lorenzo, with me. He looked at me and said, yeah, boy, your game better be right. That's the only coach back in the day. He'll have a blazer on.
Yeah, in the corner.
In the corner.
Yeah.
I mean, he's different. And I sit back and say, Dad, I gotta go against that mind that's been there, that actually raised different, not one champion, but several champions.
Right. This is not Joe's first big fight.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So he understands. So he know what to say, know what to do to keep his fighter calm, you know, going through this transition and whatnot. But we ready, Joe. We ready.
All right. Both guys can box. And both guys are underrated to their own levels. I mean, Tank finally getting the pound-for-pound recognition, but Ryan's got quick hands and he can move. Is this going to be more of a boxing match or more of a fight? I mean, sometimes that can ebb and flow and go back and forth. How do you see
like I said again, it's just what fighter execute what the corner's bringing out. You know what I'm saying? Joe going to do what he do, and we're going to do what we do. You know, the great thing about it, I got several minds in the corner. I have several minds in the corner that we putting the fight. We putting the fight together where we're going to make it. Because right now we just going into the third half of our camp. You know what I'm saying? Where we really going to start biting down on everything. He's been like getting his body right, making sure he's getting the proper rest, sleep, you know, and he's dialing in because he understands we conquer this one. He got a bullseye on his head. He is the man.
I was going to say, the winner of this fight, true or false, is the face of boxing.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's what I just said. And everybody know it. Yeah, Ron is the king, Tank is the savage.
Wow. I can't wait for this, April 22nd. I mean, like, it's got different feels. It's like this, like, I'm giddy, I want action, and they bring that too, but it's personalities, it's fanfare, it's all of that. And
the crowd in Vegas might be real young, too. You know, 20-something fighters. Well, you're going to get a younger audience.
You got to remember, it's a younger audience, but it's the audience for them.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the audience that's the culture. Each one of them got their own culture. And you feel this energy. Coming up to the venue, seeing everybody standing outside. We ain't seen that in a long time.
Right.
That's when boxing was great.
Oh, yeah. What? answer us this, because one of the logistics of this fight is two lightweight stars, but I feel they're both moving closer to 140. Ryan's already announced his move, but this will be at 136 pounds, a catch weight. Why?
We want to make sure we can make the fight happen. Sometimes you got to do things that you got to do to make a fight happen and both teams be agreeable with. You know what I'm saying? Tank can make 140, 135, you know what I'm saying? But we wanted to make sure that it was good for both sides to make the fight. And guess what?
We made it. Let's not say anything more. We made it. That's the good news.
Yeah.
Is there a ceiling on weight for Tank? Because he went up at 140 against Mario Barrios and made, an exciting fight, but he still did Tank things at the end of the day. Took his time, picked him apart, got him out of there.
Power carried late.
Could he punch at welterweight? Do you have any? All right.
You know, if they would have showed the scenes from the last All Access, I seen them take guys that were skillful at 165. Wow. But they wouldn't show it. I wish they would have showed it. If they'd have showed it, because we checked the guy weight, because I said, yo, you big as all outdoors. And we went to stand on the scale, and I said, yo, I can't believe this. With 16s on.
How do you deal? Because Calvin Ford, you have success. You kind of become a little celebrity yourself. You know, you're the coach of one of the most vibrant, dynamic athletes in pro sports. You were the inspiration for the character Cuddy in The Wire.
Yes.
You've had a couple of touches, and you've had a great personal story yourself to get to this point.
The unofficial king of Baltimore.
How do you deal with that? Just sort of like, it's a badge on my sleeve, or what?
You're making me emotional because
man,
everybody don't understand my journey.
Yeah.
And I believe my mission is anything is possible if you put the right people around you. Put the right people around you and believe in them as they believe in you. You can do anything.
How long before interacting with Tank did you know, man, he's destined for something special? Maybe you didn't know what it was, but it was on the way.
My son, Kadir, him and Tank was real close. And he wanted to be with his mother in Jersey before he died. God rest his soul. I don't know what he told Tank, but he stayed beside me every walk of the way. And he told me, he said, Dad, I'm going back home with Mom. You need to stay in this kid's life because you'll be good for him. And we've been good for each other.
No doubt about it.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for being real. I appreciate that.
No, that's the truth.
Right.
That's the truth. I mean, we giving hope for this generation to come. And then sometimes, they missing their old heads. That's what I call them, their OGs, their old heads, their mentors, that you got to listen to them guys because they've been here before you. It's not saying you got to do everything everybody say to do, but just listen because it's going to help you through your journey.
Now, did they get it right in The Wire with West Baltimore? They got it right.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, they got it right. And they still getting it right. You know what I'm saying? We still going through our transition, but again, this is what it takes to get the message to the youth, to let them know, look, you're going to go through look at me, prime example. You're going to go through your ups and your downs. It's what you do on the back end.
No doubt about it.
It's like a real life Rocky story, and I appreciate
it's
that.
real. Yeah.
The trainer of Gervonta, Tank Davis, Calvin Ford, a pleasure.
No, appreciate y'all.
Best of luck to you guys.
Thank you, sir.
April 22nd.
Hey. Be there.
Be there with Belfast.
Hey, before you go, real quickly, give me a Baltimore recommendation. Give me someplace to see in Baltimore people don't ever talk about.
I'm gonna tell you about the food, the crab cakes, the crab meat. You want to check out our crab meat.
I'm from Washington D.C., so I know.
The Harbor. It's a lot of great restaurants, man. That's real laid back, quiet.
Baltimore has got a real chill vibe.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's pronounced Baltimore, okay? Please get it right. Get it right.
I'm going to let y'all two handle that.
All right, thank you,
I appreciate y'all,
yes,
man.
Sir,
My man.
Ford in the house, the trader of Gervonta, Tank Davis. Both fighters will be joining us shortly, Luke, is the word as we continue to build toward the first face-off between Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. Just 45 days out. That does feel like right around the corner.
Crazy. I can't believe that.
We got David Benavidez, Caleb Plant, March 25th on Showtime pay-per-view, also in Las Vegas. So
here we go. Here's
a
the man
lot
himself.
to look forward to on the schedule. And if we're going to talk to the Godfather Calvin Ford himself, the trainer and mentor of one Gervonta, Tank Davis, we better bring in the best-dressed guy in all of boxing, which is kind of like saying...
here we go. Okay.
It's kind of like saying it's the pig with the most lipstick, because this is boxing. We don't usually dress all that nice, Luke. You know what I mean? I mean, but when you got the threads that one Joe Goosen does, the legendary trainer, broadcaster, and the man tasked with preparing the game plan for young Ryan Garcia, I've asked before, Luke, and I'll probably ask him again right now, when do I get the tour of the closet? Because you may not know this about Joe Goosen. He only wears those great outfits on fight night. One time, they go in the bag and they go in the closet. His closet is a museum of boxing history.
I can imagine. I would love to know. I'd love to get a chance to look at it.
I mean, Joe, you're going to have to invite us to your closet one day. That's what's going to have to happen. Okay. I mean, is the Corrales Castillo dress shirt still there? I need to find
the striped one, right?
Oh, yeah.
Let's get those on. Let's get those on here. There we are.
I mean, Joe, you've got a lovely family, but if you, in your living will, if you want to leave that dress shirt to me,
Brian?
Joe, I would just...
Nobody else has asked me, so you may just get first dibs on it.
Right there. Joe Goosen, everybody, always a pleasure, sir.
Good to see you, Brian. Hey, Luke.
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you.
Luke Thomas right here. We are kind of dressed a little bit alike.
A little bit, yeah.
You got denim
Joe looks better.
Do you have denim underwear on, Joe? You always have a Canadian tuxedo of some kind rocking out with.
Normally.
All right, Joe. We don't have to sell this fight because it sells itself.
Yeah.
But in the corner of a 24-year-old who maybe doesn't have the same level of experience against Tank, but is like, that's okay. We're going to make my career right now on this night. You've been here before behind the scenes. What's the mental makeup of Ryan Garcia ahead of the biggest fight of his career?
Well, the mental makeup is probably, like any other fight you would prepare for.
Well, this one's
to
different,
tell you the
Joe.
truth.
This one's different.
But if you start looking at things differently than what you would normally do, then you start second guessing yourself. I think you've got to kind of stick to what works. Is this thing a pay-per-view? Is it big, Tank, the whole thing, southpaw? Do we have to make adjustments for all of those things? Sure. But in terms of attacking the gym, which is what we're talking about, attacking training, you don't go in there thinking any differently than you do when you go to train. You go, because if you're a serious guy like Ryan, like Tank, you go in at every fight. Every fight is a fight that you need to win, and you need to look great in. So, yeah, we don't go into the gym and we go every day thinking anything other than let's look good in the gym at what we're doing. Let's work on the things that we need to work on to address Tank's style. So, there's not a lot of that emotion there.
I'm an emotional person, Joe.
I know. Listen, no, it makes sense, and the question, is valid. It's just that you've got to approach it like you would another work day.
He's got to be a special kid to be able to be at this point in his career,
have
that many eyeballs on him, 9 million people on Instagram,
right?
And
well, you're right about that, Brian. Now I will address that. Ryan is a unique individual in every way, inside the ring, outside the ring. He's got a high IQ. I can tell you that. He's very well versed in a lot of things. His instincts are great. His power is very unique.
How so? How so? This is interesting.
Well, look, I've had a lot of pretty good fighters over the years.
So, some of the best fighters the last 20, 30 years.
Well, I've had a few, and I got to tell you, there's some guys that aren't great in the gym, but still fight well. And then there are guys that are great in the gym and fight well. And most of the great ones do well in the gym. A few exceptions where they're a little dodgy in sparring, but you put them under the lights and they turn into a different person. But Ryan Garcia, now I've had this is our third camp a year with him, but I've known Ryan since he's been, a teenager because he trained at my gym in the beginning right before he turned pro. Now, that being said, I've never seen anybody ever hurt sparring partners, either wobble them, stun them, drop them, or completely stop them at the rate Ryan Garcia does. I've never, ever seen. I'm telling you right now, and
we talking to the body or everywhere?
Anywhere. He just ruins people. And I'm going to tell you what Ryan said. I mean, it's a little,
it's just
out of scope.
Yeah, no one's watching.
Nobody's watching. I sometimes come to the rescue of really good sparring partners. You can't bring in guys that aren't qualified. So I'm bringing in qualified guys. And Ryan called me one night and said, Joe, you have to stop saving these guys. Okay, because I'll call the sparring off after about 4 or 5 rounds when I see these guys really starting to take a lot of heat, to put it mildly. And he goes, look, I'm paying them good. I want, you tell them this is the amount of rounds we've set, and they've got to do it. I said, all right, okay. But, I try to rescue some of these guys, and they're good sparring partners. And that's how dynamic he is in the gym. So, again, one of the hardest punchers I've ever dealt with. The speed is incredible. His calmness in the ring. And by the way, Ryan Garcia is the sweetest, nicest guy in the world outside.
He's charming.
The gym.
I'll give him that.
He is.
Seems quite friendly, yeah.
Oh no, he is.
I'd like to check his DMs. That's another topic.
No, he's a great kid. You want to be around him.
Yeah.
He's magnetic in that respect. But I got to tell you, when you put the headgear on him and put the mouthpiece in, you can see his face change. I swear to you, and he turns into another person in the ring.
Give me an answer here. How in your mind, how does the power in terms of not just being greater or less than, but differ? How does the power between Tank and Ryan differ?
Well, if you look at the Rolly fight, right? That one looked very devastating. That counter, left hand off of, Rolly through the right hand, and then when he went to throw the hook, he had his right hand way down. Tank had already made the slip over to the left and came back with a counter shot. I mean, you're wide open. So that's going to look devastating, and it was devastating. He did the same thing with Santa Cruz. So he's got really, really good power. I just think Ryan is a bigger guy, and that his power, like I say, Ryan Garcia is a welterweight in a lightweight body right now, like Oscar was. Oscar fought at 130, became the champ, 35 became the champ, moved right up to 47, because he was always, that 5'10", big, broad-shouldered, just like Ryan. They're kind of built very similarly. So I think that's the advantage we have in power. They're both powerful guys. Ryan's just very, very quick. That left hook he throws, if you come charging at him, he can hit you with that, it goes about that far, and it's imperceptible to pick up unless you slow the film down a little bit. And then his right hand, don't underestimate the right hand. A lot of sparring partners that I've got in the gym right now, they're going, his right hand, as good as his left hook is, as great as his left hook, his right hand is really strong.
Interesting. How does for this fight, and I guess for all the times you work with him,
yeah,
how does a game plan come together? Who comes up with it? Who does he contribute ideas to it? Do you hand it down?
Yeah. Oh no. We talk about it, but it's really not brain surgery. Coming up with a plan sometimes is self-evident what you have to do. Okay. Now you got a guy that's 5'10", long reach, tall, good from a distance. Well, you would probably make the assumption, that you've got to put that to good use.
Yeah.
Then you've got another guy who's much shorter, who, does certain things in the beginning of the fight as opposed to halfway through the fight towards the end. He follows a pattern, and so you look at the patterns and you develop the smart things to do to counterattack, and then other things to attack. So that's pretty much how it comes about. I'm not going to tell, but like I say, it's pretty much self-evident if you've got a mind to look at film and then pick it apart and go, well, I think here's what we should be doing, and then we'll agree upon it, and then we'll implement it on the floor and in the ring,
Joe,
sparring.
I don't mean to interrupt with this, but what is the secret to aging gracefully? Because I feel lost.
Is the answer denim?
Pardon?
Is the answer denim?
I think his cologne is the MVP of the show so far. All right.
Well, I'm glad it.
In all seriousness,
it helps because Brian doesn't shower.
Okay. In all seriousness, when you take over Ryan Garcia, it's the typical idea of a fighter with so many great qualities. And it's like you don't want to change him. You want to sharpen. You want to turn.
That's right.
How much are you? Because when I look at you, you can do it all. You're a legend. But I'm like, when you get hooked on with a guy, their offense improves, their output improves, their pace. He's already dangerous and aggressive.
That's right.
How much are you working on trying to refine him in terms of some of those little things that make big difference?
May I piggyback?
Yeah.
When he came to you and wanted to train with you, what were you tasked with solving?
Yes.
Well, let me just kind of address that before I answer that. Address something else. I think one of the big things for Ryan was to have somebody there for him all the time. Okay? In other words, Ryan needed somebody consistent in his life. Along with his father, his mother, his brother, and the rest of our crew. But as far as the head trainer was concerned, I think he needed somebody that was going to commit and be there. That's, a lot of the times that's half the battle with any job is actually showing up to work. Okay? So I think that was something that Ryan was looking for, needed, and got. Now, to answer the other things about... See, Ryan's got a very unique style to himself, and I try not to change too much. What I do is I encourage certain things. I remind him of certain things because he's really doing well in every aspect of what we're doing approaching this fight. So I go, well, you got to be careful where you place that hand when you go to that punch there against the southpaw. I've had quite a few southpaw fighters and champions, and I pretty much know how southpaws operate and what to look for. And they're difficult guys to fight if you don't know how to fight a southpaw. Luckily, Ryan grew up with his younger brother Sean, who's a southpaw, and so as a kid, he sparred against his brother all the time and really learned how to fight a southpaw. It's a rarity, believe me. Not a lot of right-handers want to fight southpaws. It's a mirror opposite image of what you're used to. And if you look at somebody's record, a right-hander, they might, if they have 30 fights, they may have 2, maybe 3 southpaws. So they're going to fight the majority of right-hand. Your right-handed style is built towards other right-handers.
All right, I don't mean to cut you off, Joe. We're about to get started here. It's a pleasure to catch up with you. Best of luck to you. April 22nd in the corner
I'll give you the handshake.
of Ryan Garcia. I could do this all day, just so you know.
Right, and I'm sorry for rambling on there. And
no rambling. That was great.
Time. Okay, all right. And then I just say this. It's going to be a great fight.
Boy,
it's going to be very good fight.
We're going to be judging your fashion choices in the corner. Don't think we're not going to be.
Bring back the white suit from the Chavez Fanfara fight. Okay, back to this. Luke
Thanks,
Thomas,
Joe.
great catching up with Calvin Ford, catching up with Joe Goosen. The fighters are arriving. It's about to get going down behind us pretty shortly, but no shortage of celebrity faces popping up around here.
I'm looking around. I see Ryan Garcia here off to my left. He's got a crew of giant men surrounding him.
Yes.
I believe there's a lot of boxing luminaries in terms of media here as well.
Ak and Barak in the house. So shout
out Barak. Shouts to Ak and Barak. We love them. I used to do a radio show with them at SiriusXM. Shouts to them.
And I think we're going to get another big-name guest in just a few seconds when you're talking about all things Gervonta Tank Davis and King Ryan Garcia, April 22nd. You're talking about the Southern California superstar right here, the unbeaten 24-year-old. Now, it used to be King Rye. Now it's King Ryan. Is this just a maturity thing, Ryan Garcia?
Yeah, we have to emphasize. People got to understand what it is. King Ryan. It kind of confuses people. King Ryan, what is that?
Right.
So I'm like, what?
We noticed on the dais.
Nobody gets it. I'm going to make it easy for them. It's just King Ryan.
All right. So many areas we can go because it's such a great fight. It's a career-defining date, and you push to make it happen. I think, in a lot of ways, it takes two to tango, and both fighters said yes. Why did you need this fight right now so badly?
I think it's really a testament to what my heart truly is. You know, there's been a lot of perceptions on who I am as a fighter, if I'm serious about it. And, you know, I was tired of the misconception about myself. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to do whatever I have to do to make this fight happen. I put the fans and I put the boxing in itself before myself, because a lot of the times during this negotiation, I probably should have said no because of the stipulations he put against me. Obviously, he likes to fight people with no power, so he's trying to weight drain me. Then a rehydration clause, I can't gain more than 10 pounds. There's a lot of stipulations in there that show what kind of character he has, his integrity, and the will of a competitor he has. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have the heart of the champion. Look at him, how he represents himself as a champion. He's not even here. It's been over an hour. I mean, there was like 46,000 people watching, and I was here, and he's still not here. So, I mean, you could take that as he's cool and whatnot, but in reality, if you look at the truth, it's unprofessional, and it's pretty whack of a champion like himself.
Wow, we had talked about this. What would the temperature be when you two face off on the stage, which should happen shortly behind us? Is it already a little icy?
It's not icy, but like, how whack is it? You know, we're already rushing this promotion to make it happen, and then you're not here. You know, we got to rush things for your little issue, so why aren't you here? Like, show that respect for the promotion and for the event that it deserves, boxing, for that part. So, I mean, to me, it just shows, like I said, his character, his integrity is showing loud right now.
How hard is it to make 136 right now?
It's hard. I mean, I'm 24 years old, not a little guy anymore. I'm making a lot of sacrifices. I'm very hungry, very thirsty. I'm on a strict diet. As you see, I'm already looking good because I'm already cutting weight.
So you're already pretty lean.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. I'm doing everything I have to do and making every sacrifice you could think of to make this fight happen. And like I said, it just shows his character.
All right, when you talk about this fight, when you said yes to the matchup, what about Tank Davis forces you to focus the most? What is the key thing you are looking at in terms of your preparations that you have to beat him in this moment, in this area, come April 22nd?
When it comes to the fight, yes, if you look at the face value, it's speed, power, right? It's timing, it's everything. But in reality, I think it's going to come down to the mind. A lot of the times in my fights, I haven't, you know, I've been overwhelming on the speed factor or this power factor, so I haven't really had to use, you know, the little intricacies of boxing that you don't see. But I think this fight is gonna be a chess match in a way, and that might shock people.
Is that why it's like, in other words, of all the big names you could have called out, you picked this one? Why this one?
Because I think it's a respect to Tank. I think that he's one of the best fighters in the world. And since I was young, I've always had that fire as a competitor on fighting the best. And I think this is the fight that's going to actually give me the crown. It's one thing to call yourself king. It's another one to actually have it. So I think this is the fight to do it. And after this, there's not much more to say about myself other than, damn, he is what he says he is. Like, he's not just, you know, it's going to kind of, I don't want to say humble the world, but in a way where it's like judging, it's like the tale as old as time is don't judge a book by its cover. It's within a person. It's not what they see outwardly. It's within you. And I think that's the biggest misconception about myself and social media. It's like there's a true fighter within me that you're going to see come fight night.
All right, let's talk about Gervonta. January 7th on Showtime pay-per-view. He knocked out Hector Luis Garcia in the fight that was meant to prepare him for you. How would you grade his performance? What did you learn from him that night?
No, I didn't really learn much. It's kind of, it's a different fight. Obviously, Hector Garcia is around his size as well, height-wise. And it's kind of the usual Tank fight. You know, he gives away the rounds in the beginning to let you kind of blow off steam like most guys do. because, you know, they got most of the energy in the beginning of the round, so he's not going to take much chances in those rounds. Now, his defense is not that good in the beginning of the rounds because I've seen him get hit, but that's kind of his game plan. I'm going to try to deflect as many shots as I can. I'll pick my spots, and then later on, I'll start applying smart pressure and start banging away and hopefully land a big shot. But when you have seen that before and can prepare for it, now you have a guy that is not going to blow his steam away, and we're going to play it how we got to play it. And then that's where boxing actually happened. Now it's a boxing fight. Now you got to think in there, because if I hit you, it's not going to feel good. You're not going to want to, you know, keep coming forward and try to take chances. You know, if I find a good shot, 9 times out of 10 it should hurt him. And if not, I just beat him. How about that? How about I just beat him? How about I just
outbox him?
Yeah, how about I just outbox him? I've been boxing since I was 7 years old. I can move. I could dance. I could do a little bit of that. I don't do it because I like knocking people out, but if I see in the fight I have to do it, I will.
You can go to that gear.
100%.
All right, I like the vibe here. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I want to say I like the vibe because I can feel in a healthy way that you've got this chip on your shoulder. And when you have, look, as many social media followers as you're going to get a lot of love, and I know you get a lot of hate. What part of your game entering this fight are you most excited to prove the haters wrong on? Because people will say, "Oh, he's great, but he can't take a punch."
I think intelligence and defense. I think that people always say I don't have defense, but I've never seen myself bruised up in a fight. I've never seen
the Campbell fight, in fairness.
No, but I'm talking about like
swollen up.
I got caught with one shot.
Yeah.
It was a great shot and it dropped me, but I wouldn't say that's lack of defense. That's a great shot. You know what I mean? Like, he timed me perfect, he faked me, and he's tall and rangy. Mind you, I hadn't fought a person as tall as me in I don't even know how long. So when he threw that shot, usually, you know, you back up, you know the distance.
Right.
He cracked. I wasn't reading the range right there. You know, I'm used to smaller guys at my weight class.
Right.
So he caught me with a very tricky shot, and everybody's been trying to land that shot since, and they have not landed it because it's hard to land. That's not an easy shot to land. You got to reach and you got to come in. Smaller guys, that's a lot of ground to cover, so I'll catch them before they come in. So those little things people kind of miss, but I don't think I have a lack of defense, and I think that's going to be shown this fight when Gervonta has a little bit of trouble hitting me more than he thinks.
It was interesting as he was asking me what's been the biggest change in, not so much, I mean, it's not like you radically transformed from going to Eddie Reynoso to Joe Goosen, but in your mind, what's the biggest difference now that you're training with Joe when you see yourself in sparring? How do you feel different? Because it looks to me like some of the decision making is better. I do think the defense is better. It just looks cleaner to me.
Yeah. When I was with Canelo's camp, I felt like I had more of a immature mindset where I'm just gonna go blast this guy. You know, I'm gonna walk through anything, I'm gonna blast him. And I don't have that mindset so much more. It's more like, you know, we're gonna play the game how it's supposed to be played. Boxing is supposed to be played this way. We're gonna respect the game, and we're gonna do things the right way. I have the power, I have the speed, but let's put it all together and let's box, right? Because before I'm throwing hooks like Canelo, I'm throwing overheads. I kind of had the same kind of movement, you know what I mean? Which was good at the time for sure, especially for the Campbell fight. You know, you had to go get him. He's a great boxer.
Right.
But now for this fight, you need everything. So I think it's part of the transition with Joe, but it's also a transition to myself. You know what I mean? Realizing that, you know, you got to respect fighters. And because in this ring, it doesn't show no mercy. You could walk into one, for sure.
No doubt about it. Or they can walk into one of yours as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You've become a bit of a body snatcher when it comes to the
to
the body puncher, which can be such a great equalizer in a close fight.
Yeah.
How much is that a part of your focus heading into this matchup?
Speaking of Campbell, speaking of Fortuna.
Yeah, what helps me with that is, like, everybody's looking for the hook, but you don't know where it's going. You don't know if it's going to go to the head or the body or around the ear. So, yeah, you could look for the hook, but now that I have a really good body shot, it really helps my element of surprise. You know what I mean? I'm actually surprised. I landed the same shot to Fortuna, which really opens up so many other doors for other shots, and including the right hand. I actually have a strong right hand, and now my right hand is fully back.
Yeah, Joe was just telling us the sparring partners are like, yo, like everyone is thinking left hook. That right hand is no.
My right hand's heavier. My left hook is sneakier. Which one knocks people out? It's the sneakier one.
Right.
So this one has enough power to knock you out because it's so sneaky. But this is heavier. If you get hit with this, even if you see it, it hurts. It's like, what the hell you hit me with? You know what I mean? But this, you won't see it. It don't matter. I don't care who you are.
Do you think you have the best left hook in boxing?
I mean, there's a lot of people that have great left hooks. I think what you've seen in my fights, you could have a very strong argument. I do. But a lot of people have good hooks, but mine seems
up there.
Seems to be knocking people out.
It seems to work really well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm actually surprised. I'm like, damn, I don't even think I hit him. Did I hit him? Like, Duno, I was like, doom. And you just went out. And I'm like, dang, it is pretty sneaky, though. I'll give it that.
Would you say, we sometimes talk about narratives in the sport overall, and I think this fight emphasizes that the younger fighters of this generation, and you're in a lot of ways the face of that at age 24, to use the term we throw around too often, they want all the smoke. You're facing Tank Davis right now, not 4 or 5 years from now. Does this start a trend? Do you see this like we do where
Fulton and Inoue?
You know, it's like the American young fighters are just like, nah, man, we're not waiting. We're not waiting to Mayweather-Pacquiao 5-year build to get there. We want it now. How do you speak to that?
I think I speak to that. Staying true to myself, obviously. Not letting the business of boxing persuade me in from my morals, I guess you could say, or my character. My character is to fight the best. Yeah, I could have milked this a little bit more, but again, then I'm going against myself. Yeah. So does it start a trend? I don't know, because I only can speak for myself.
But you can lead by example.
I can lead by example, just kind of like how I did with, speaking up about mental health. Yes. People, fighters in their South felt more comfortable to say, sure, you know what, something's going on here. You got to remember, we get hit in the head for a living. You know what I mean? There's going to be a little bit of mental health issues. You know what I mean? And you notice back in the day, if you don't speak about it or you don't handle it, you end up acting out, hurting other people. You know what I mean?
That's important.
Hurt people.
Yeah. Right.
So it's like, for me, it's like, I don't want to act out. I don't want to hold this in. Let me go figure it out. You know what? I'm going to do myself right, and hopefully that inspires young men, young women, or older men or older women to really care about themselves, because at the end of the day, nobody's going to really care about you other than you.
Well, that's important with your platform. We appreciate that. Great chatting with you, Ryan Garcia.
Thank
you,
Mr. Garcia.
They got big things to do. As I think Tank Davis's arrival is
did he know it was today?
is nearly upon us here. 45 days out from the big fight, Showtime pay-per-view. Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia.
I can't wait.
I mean, these interviews just illustrate even more how
Let me pitch it to you. We spoke to Joe. We spoke to Ryan. We had a chance to talk to Calvin. Obviously, I haven't talked to Tank Davis yet, although I spoke to him in Washington, D.C. When he did the press. By the way, he was very late for the Hector Garcia press conference as well. So I spoke to him that afternoon about this. So I've had a chance to speak to all the principals, so to speak. Every time I talk to them, I feel like I learn another wrinkle about what's important and why this matters and why we care.
I mean, just talking, a handful of minutes here with both Joe Goosen and Ryan Garcia, it almost feels as if they want to show the world a lot, right? That's why I mentioned, hey, Ryan Garcia, which narrative do you want to prove wrong the most? That you can't take a punch, that you have no defense, whatever. It seems like they want to show the world that they can box. Yes. As much as we think of this as two knockout punchers that are going to come in there and Ryan's got a history of stepping right into danger and making things happen. I love the idea that they want to show that, look, I'd love to knock out Tank, but if not, or maybe on the way to doing, if they believe in themselves that much, they really want to show the craft. And that is important because Ryan Garcia has a 4.5-inch height advantage. He has a small reach advantage. I don't know if he's going to have a speed advantage. I also don't know who else in this game has hands as fast as Ryan Garcia, certainly in that elite category. It will be interesting to see because Tank takes some time to diagnose you and figure you out. Will it take longer because of that speed and that distance? Can Ryan Garcia make the kind of leap now 3 fights into the Joe Goosen run that we just don't know is in there, that we didn't think was in there? So many questions I need answered.
I have to tell you, I was going to say, BC, it's hard to cut you off, but the other thing that stood out to me was I don't like it when boxers or fighters of any variety, athletes, are like, I'm going to do this to prove the haters wrong. You should do it. I mean, that might be a side benefit, but you should do it because you want to. And that's what he said. He goes, I wanted to take tough fights because that's in alignment with what my character says, the way in which I am guided, what matters to me, what I want to do. His natural orientation is to go in that direction. So he's following in here, according to him, with all these extra stipulations on board. I take my hat off to him.
Think about the recent mentors. He's no longer with Team Canelo, Eddie Reynoso, one of the top trainers in the sport. But getting to mirror what Canelo's doing in camp, I think that's a pretty big, development and sort of learning tree to sit under. And let's not forget about the promoter, Oscar De La Hoya. Yeah, he says some crazy stuff in the interviews from now and then. But when you're talking about Oscar De La Hoya as a Hall of Fame fighter, the number one thing on his legacy, not one fight or, the gold medal in 92, we know all about that. But the number one part of Oscar's legacy that is still the most impressive, even as a giant commercial draw, always willing to face the best, no matter the danger. Moving up to middleweight to fight Bernard Hopkins, now, of course, his business partner, but always looking. I mean, when you talk about Oscar, he fought Floyd and Manny and Bernard and, go on and down the line and Trinidad across the board. Vargas, name it. Did he always win those? No. But that didn't stop him from becoming an all-time great Hall of Fame talent, and I love to see that spirit in a young fighter. It's not easy. This is a dangerous game. You fight nothing but killers fight after fight. There's a price to pay for that. But there's also some times where timing is everything. And is this the right time, the right moment for Ryan Garcia to elevate his game beyond what his haters think is possible, beyond what the odds makers think is possible? We already expect to be the close fight, a great fight, a dramatic fight, tense the whole time. But can Ryan Garcia flip this upside down? Are those tools inside of him? I say yes. Doesn't mean he's going to win it, but I say yes. You mix that with a mindset that says, forget it, man. I'm 24, but I need this now. It's a dangerous customer.
Super dangerous customer, yeah. The self-assuredness, the belief, again, not in destiny, but the belief that they're ready for the actual real material conflict that they're going to be in. That's what we're looking for. That's what we want to see. And then, again, he even noted, have things changed with working with Joe Goosen? Yes. But also, that happened at kind of the same time he was already naturally changing and leveling up as a fighter on his own. The two kind of happened in a more coinciding way than a cause and effect kind of way, which I also like to hear. I also like to hear that he's got this new wrinkle, not a new wrinkle, but a sort of a leveling up moment as a competitor.
Well, let's think about what Joe Goosen brings. It's like a great trainer can change your style, or not change it, but mold it. A great trainer can also be that voice in the corner. Think Mickey for Rocky Balboa, the fictional boxer. And when Joe Goosen says the number one thing I wanted to bring to him was to be there every single day, it just so happened that previously Ryan Garcia was with Eddie Reynoso in a celebrity camp that had Andy Ruiz, that had so many other big-name fighters, Canelo Alvarez, a couple other jumping off the top of my head, but the point is, you might not always get
Virgil Ortiz, right?
You might not always get. I don't believe so. I might not always get that day to day across the board in that regard. I was thinking of Oscar Valdez at that point.
Oscar Valdez. What am I saying? Yes, you're right.
But the point is, it's like maybe that is just the perfect match, because you do need a trainer. Look at what Calvin Ford brings to Gervonta as that father figure, as that motivator, as that guy just who's looking out for you and is there for you. We'll see what that relationship can bring in full bloom. You can only get so much from his decision win over Emmanuel Tagoe, which came after a long layoff and looked good against Fortuna and stopped him to the body. But what is that going to look like now when you step up to the highest level? I can't wait. Luke, I believe we are just a couple of minutes away. Apologies for the delay. It took a little bit longer. I mean, that Midtown traffic can be
it is brutal.
Can be a kick.
It is brutal.
But let's talk about this. Ryan Garcia didn't hide his feelings about the potential of that Midtown traffic.
Yeah.
It already got a little spicy early. You can understand from Ryan Garcia's point of view, hey, this thing was supposed to start. Is this gamesmanship from Gervonta?
No, I don't think so. I mean, maybe because he's the A side, but there was really not. I mean, sometimes you see fights not get made because it's like, who's the A side? Tank's the one who's the pay-per-view star. He's the A side. I don't think Ryan really challenges that, so maybe not from that sense. But honestly, again, I was there in D.C. for the Hector Luis Garcia, and he was super late for that one too. Listen, the guy is a celebrated pro athlete.
Hey, Conor McGregor's like that too. There's something about being on top, right?
I got to tell you, I am very used to fighters being late to press conferences, including their own press conferences. So listen, here's the reality. These guys are going to live and die in their own mind. Sure. And they're going to see things. Sometimes they're right. Sometimes they're just seeing things because they're in that competitor space. The thing it tells you is, look where his head is at. And by the way, he says, I'm hungry, not in a metaphorical sense. I'm literally hungry, he says, because he has to make the weight. So that's going to make you irritable. That's going to make you competitive. It's going to make you a certain kind of drive. You're seeing that out there.
Two big stars, like we talked about, but it's very rare where it's sort of like 50-50 handshake. And for Ryan Garcia, has a big audience, but it does take time on the pay-per-view level, continually establishing yourself. I mean, we always say it. Floyd Mayweather became the biggest pay-per-view star we have ever seen. But he was also the B-side against Oscar and had to Oscar De La Hoya in 2007 and had to
that was De La Hoya versus Mayweather
and had to take that fight in a new division, had to bend to the things of the A-side fighter and Oscar so that then he can gain that power and move forward. Certainly that's a big part of this for Ryan Garcia. Let me go up against this established star. Let me take his audience. Let me try to do that. Another big part of the maturation process, it just so happens that at 24, he's going to mature right in front of us in such a big, important, and dangerous fight. 51-0 with 45 KOs combined, Luke Thomas. Don't get much better than that, right?
Also, I got to say, we talked earlier in the stream. You asked me what kind of energy we're going to get, and I told you it will depend on Ryan Garcia.
Yes.
And I thought he was going to be, a little bit competitive, a little spicy, as the kids say.
Oh, he was, though.
Well, okay, but I thought he was going to be a little cooler. No, he might be real spicy. He might be real spicy today. So, again, we'll see how it all goes. He's a pro, Tech's pro. We'll have it out. But the chances for a little back and forth, I think, went up a little bit after this conversation.
No question about that. 45 more days, T-Mobile Arena, April 22nd, Showtime pay-per-view. Gervonta Tank Davis and now King Ryan.
Yes,
Garcia.
It's official. It's not King Rye. Just King.
He said, it was confusing people. Is it King Ree? What is it? No, now it's King Ryan. This reminds me of That Thing You Do. You remember that movie with that Beatles wannabe band? They wanted to call themselves the Wonders, and then he was like, it looks like the Oneaters to me. All right. Yeah, it's just...
it's a great reference, BC.
When you're old and washed like me, you tend to dip into the 90s.
Tell us about your favorite cassette tape as well while you're at it.
Why don't you tell me this? Is there a fight in the journey of Gervonta Davis that somewhat adequately prepares him for this type of challenge? I was trying to think of that the other day because you don't technically find that speed and power and length package.
No. Yeah,
he's fought taller fighters, yes.
Right, yes. But exactly, they've been showing the Santa Cruz fight on and off in the back here. And you can watch that, and there are some, in terms of body size, sort of some similarities, but not really. And then he was clearly much slower. But it cuts both ways. Neither guy is exactly like the other guy. Neither guy is exactly anyone they've ever faced. And some broad strokes about height and reach differences. But in terms of the very weapons that they possess, it's a little bit of uncharted territory here in both directions. Part of the reason why it's so exciting.
Absolutely. 12 rounds, 136-pound catch weight.
It turned into the quiet car up in here.
Got pretty quiet here. I believe we are just moments away. Gervonta Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia. I believe they're going to face off before the start of it. And we'll get to see them continue to answer questions. We'll see if that face-off, see if that energy's there already.
Okay, let's take a bet. Ready? Are they going to talk to each other when they face off?
Yes.
You going to say yes?
Yes.
I'm going to say yes as well.
And you know what Ryan's going to? you know what Tank's going to be saying? Who's wearing that much cologne? And the answer was Joe Goosen, to be fair, the trainer of Ryan Garcia. I think we were better off for that, okay? You know what I mean? Indeed. Moments away before we toss to the stage behind us as Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia prepare to go face-to-face and face the media. Big turnout here in Times Square in New York City.
I got here at 9:30 this morning. And I noticed that there were fans lining up outside the venue at 9:30 for a 12:30 presser.
Okay, that gets me excited, by the way, because the fight that we covered together the first time, 2013, a big-time Showtime pay-per-view, Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez.
I do remember that.
I remember at 4 a.m. the night before the weigh-in, which is really a couple hours right before that day, already people lined up down the MGM Grand hallway around the corner just to get into a free weigh-in. Wonder if we're going to get those type of vibes that you don't often always see, even in a big fight, right? It depends on the fan bases of both, the energy there. And I think we can get a younger fan base here. We can get a different fan bases mixed together. It's still big-time boxing. It still has that old-school feel because of the intentions of both, because we're sort of crossing the street to make this important
seriously,
fight happen. And
in the taxonomy of boxing fans, there's people like different things. Which type in the taxonomy of boxing fans doesn't like this?
Yeah, that's a great question. If you don't like this in boxing and the uncertainties of both, like we laid out, is Ryan Garcia even better than we've seen up to this point? How does Tank deal exactly with that type of style? Or just I think the biggest question people have, can Ryan Garcia take the power, take the heat in the kitchen if this fight goes late into that second half against a puncher like that? So many questions, only one night to answer it. 45 days from now, Saturday, April 22nd, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. I am Brian Campbell. That is Luke Thomas. We have been your pilots, your guides here as we set the stage less than a minute away, I believe. We're going to throw the action behind us here, but we are the co-hosts of Morning Combat, the Showtime Sports digital series every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time on the Morning Combat YouTube channel. We're always breaking down the biggest news, reviews, previews in boxing, mixed martial arts. Hey, you want to talk bare knuckle? I'll do it with you, okay?
Yeah, you will.
Kickboxing, whatever we have to do. We have done enough talking. It is time to hear from the two fighters. It's Gervonta Tank Davis. It's King Ryan Garcia. Let's go to the stage.
Good afternoon, everybody. Certainly want to welcome you all to the Big Apple. New York, New York. This great city, so nice they had to name it twice. This is the official kickoff press conference for Davis versus Garcia. I'm Brian Custer, the host of Showtime Championship Boxing. Thank you. I know y'all been waiting. But I'm here to tell you the time has come. Time has come for one of the biggest fights of 2023. This will be a clash of two young stars in their prime, stepping over the promotional, the broadcast barriers to give fight fans what they want, and that's a mega fight. It's really a bringing together of two of boxing's most explosive, unbeaten, popular fighters, along with their millions, and I'm talking millions, of social media followers. This young man to my left, to your right, Ryan Garcia. Blistering hand speed. One of the most deadly left hooks in the sport of boxing. He's unbeaten. He's 23-0. He's got 19 knockouts. You know, last time we saw him in July, and he took out Javier Fortuna. He'll be facing a young man who is, without question, box office. His record speaks for itself. He has sold out arenas. He's broken gate records in D.C., Brooklyn, Baltimore. He's one of boxing's most vicious punchers. His 93% knockout percentage, one of the best in boxing and among current world champions. He's a three-division multi-world champion. He's also unbeaten. He comes into this fight at 28-0. He's got 26 knockouts. This past January, we saw him stop Hector Garcia. It's Gervonta Tank Davis. The winner without question, becomes one of the sport's pound-for-pound best and takes his place as the new face of boxing. So what you need to know, it all goes down April 22nd. From the fight capital of the world, I'm talking about Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena. And it's going to be produced by the destination for the best in boxing, and that's Showtime Pay-Per-View. This event is brought to you by Premier Boxing Champions. It's being promoted by GTD Promotions, TGB Promotions, and Golden Boy Promotions. Now, everyone wants to know, what about tickets? Tickets go on sale Friday, March 10th. They can be purchased through AXS.com. Again, AXS.com. The pre-sale for those tickets starts tomorrow. On Thursday, March 9th, make sure you use the code BOXING. Again, use the code BOXING for the pre-sale, which goes on sale again tomorrow. All right, let me introduce one of the promoters of this fight. He's one of the best matchmakers in the sport. He is the president of TGB Promotions. He is Tom Brown.
Thank you, Brian. Good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. Well, it's happening. This highly anticipated super fight, which the fans have been begging for, is happening April 22nd at the T-Mobile in Las Vegas, Nevada. And make no mistake about this. This is a super fight, one of the biggest boxing has to offer. It's not often in today's game we see two young fighters, both in their prime, both undefeated, and both entertaining knockout punchers collide. So props to everyone involved in making this fight happen. This really is boxing at its best. No sanctioning body ordered this fight. It's not a mandatory. It's a case of the two best fighters in the division demanding that this fight happens. And any fight involving Gervonta Davis equates to big business and box office success. Tank Davis has proven his star power by breaking records everywhere he fights, making him one of the sport's biggest stars. In his last fight at the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C., a new all-time gate record, breaking the venue's previous record of the Rolling Stones. Prior to that fight, his event at Barclays Center broke the record for the highest grossing boxing show in the arena's history. And the attendance number also set a new record for boxing at Barclays. He's one of the most explosive and dangerous fighters in the world. And unlike Luke Campbell, if Tank Davis puts you on your ass, you're not getting up. Thank you.
All right. Coming to the podium. Talking about Hall of Famer. One of boxing's greats, especially when you talk about fighters over the past 3 decades. This man was the former undisputed middleweight champion of the world. You can call him the executioner. You can call him the alien. You can just call him great. He's one of Golden Boy's Promotions, their partners, Bernard Hopkins.
I also added to that name in boxing. Y'all heard those names. But I have one that y'all need y'all to put in your back pocket for the future, because this is a fight that starts a lot of big other fights, become contagious. Here's that other name that y'all gonna have to call me from now on until I die. The biggest instigator in boxing. Yeah, I'm gonna instigate a lot of stuff to make things at least get talked about and put pressure, no matter where you're from, where house you live in. That means promoters. everybody that had everything to do with this fight, they need to be respected, and thank you to whoever those people. But we know the fans wanted it. You heard that from Tom Brown. This is one of those fights that we know that we don't see maybe once or twice in a year in the 80s and 90s. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It feels like that to me. So all the reporters, everybody that play a role in the sweet science of boxing, please treat it like that. Don't be late. Be on time if you didn't get it. And also understand that you got to respect the game, just like we got to respect your opinions about what you see, what you think you've seen, and what you wrote. But this fight has ingredients, and also because of the two fighters who will be future Hall of Famers, want to prove that come April. Enjoy it. Like I said, this is the top of the year of the biggest fight of this year, and the biggest fight even before it got to this point of 23. We all should treat it that way again. Enjoy the fight, and tell everybody that not fight fans to tune in on this one, and promise them, because I believe everybody in this room should feel that way, that this is going to be a fight that hooks them, that make them stay in the sweet science of being a fan. So if you can do that and we can do that, see how we can work together? You see how this fight got done? So now we need y'all to do what y'all do. All right? I'm going to cut it with that. Enjoy the fight. And don't ask me who's going to win, because y'all know what side I'm on. And you know what I believe. But now it ain't up to me what I think when it comes to the two fighters. Either you're going to be wrong the day after or that night, or you're going to be right. Let's enjoy the sweet science come April 14th. Thank you.
Respect. Well, introduced him earlier, but without further ado, here he is. Unbeaten, 28-0, 26 knockouts. From Baltimore, Gervonta Tank Davis. Come to the podium now. Again, Hall of Famer. Again, one of the greats. And we're talking about greats. 11 world titles, 6 different weight classes, one of the best ever to put on a pair of gloves. This guy is the chairman. He's the CEO of Golden Boy Promotions. He's the Golden Boy himself, Oscar De La Hoya.
Thank you very much, Ryan. And, as I was thinking about my comments today, one word that really comes to mind is mega fight. The word gets thrown around a lot, by when somebody hears about a pay-per-view is happening and taking place. There's some boxing insiders who will call it a mega fight just because it's on pay-per-view. But how often do you get two guys who are undefeated, two fighters who have huge fan bases, two fighters who are early in their peak of their career, and two guys that are represented by different companies, different broadcasters? To me, that's what a mega fight is all about, is bringing everyone together, bringing, first of all, the fighters together, the best two fighters in their weight division, in that same ring, and getting everyone together to work together for a big mega fight. That's what it's all about. So it almost never happens, but Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis is one that the world is not going to miss. Trust me, when we were promoting fights back in the day with Mayweather and myself and everybody, those big mega fights is what made boxing. When two personalities come into the ring together and create the perfect storm. And that's exactly what they're going to do on April 22nd, is create the perfect storm. And yeah, a lot of guys obviously know I'm with my guy, you know. And this is the reason why we're going to bring back those glory days, those big pay-per-view glory days, because of this guy right here, Ryan Garcia. So April 22nd, these two guys here are going to battle it out. They're going to fight. And I can't do any talking whatsoever because I'm not going to fight for them. And they got to do the job themselves. But that's the beauty. They wanted this fight. Nobody else. Ryan Garcia wanted this fight years ago. And now it's here. April 22nd. So may the best man win. May the best man win. I have a lot of respect for Tank. He's an amazing fighter, a great fighter. He's a special fighter. And I have a lot of respect for Ryan Garcia. He's a great fighter and a special fighter as well. So April 27th, good luck, and may the best man win. Thank you.
Let me bring to the podium now a man who obviously helped put all of this together. He can also talk to you about not only that night, the fight card, but all of the programming that will come surrounding fight night in this big mega fight. He is one of boxing's best friend. We call him El Jefe around the office. He's the president of Showtime Sports, Mr. Stephen Espinoza.
Thank you, Brian. We're thrilled to be with you today to announce the most highly anticipated fight of the year. Right now, Showtime's in the middle of one of our strongest and busiest runs in recent history. From now until April 22nd, we've got 9 boxing events over 11 weeks. But this fight, Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia, April 22nd, is one of the cornerstones of our very ambitious 2023 schedule. As Brian said, as Tom said, it's a battle of the two most popular young fighters in the sport, 2 fighters in their athletic primes, 2 of the most exciting fighters in any weight division. Put that together, and you have the biggest fight that is on the boxing schedule. Since 1986, when Showtime Boxing was born, our team has led with premium storytelling, quality production, an all-star cast of commentators with integrity and honesty. But it's on big fights like this one that we really shine. For Tank Davis, this marks his 14th appearance on Showtime, his 6th time headlining a pay-per-view. And as Tom said, he's one of the sport's hottest fighters, selling out venues in LA, Atlanta, Baltimore, Brooklyn, and most recently, DC. 5-time champion in 3 weight classes. He won his first title at 22 and has knocked out 18 of his last 19 opponents. And while Tank might be one of the biggest punchers, pound for pound, in the sport of boxing, Ryan certainly may be one of the fastest. 23-0, 19 KOs, knockouts in 6 of his last 7 fights. So you can't sleep on his power either. We welcome Ryan for his first appearance on Showtime pay-per-view. Now, these are 2 fighters with huge fan bases, very passionate fan bases, massive social media audiences. It would be easy to look at their popularity on social media and be cynical. And in fact, both these fighters get a lot of criticism, unfair criticism. But let's not get this confused. Tank isn't just a guy with big knockout power. He's a skilled boxer, quality amateur pedigree, a multiple-time amateur national champion with over 200 amateur wins. And Ryan's not just a guy with fast hands and a huge social media audience. He's got power of his own, a similar high-quality amateur pedigree, also a multiple-time national amateur champion with also 200 amateur wins under his belt. This fight is the right fight at the right time, with the potential to transcend the sport. This telecast is being produced by Showtime Pay-Per-View, distributed across Showtime Pay-Per-View, and will be available across multiple pay-per-view providers, including, of course, DAZN Pay-Per-View as well. And Tank vs. Ryan will be supported by the Emmy-winning All Access, 2 episodes. Episode 1 premieres April 1st, Episode 2 April 7th. In closing, John F. Kennedy famously said, "Success has many fathers, but failure is an orphan." When a fight this big gets made, there are no shortage of people rushing to take credit. But as someone who is involved, I can tell you who deserves the vast majority of the credit. It's these 2 fighters right here on this stage. It's Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia who deserve the credit for this fantastic event. Throughout the long negotiating process, they never wavered. There were plenty of doubters, naysayers, critics. They remained focused. They refused to take the easy way out, to take other opportunities, and delivered fight fans and boxing what the sport wanted and what fans wanted. So as we celebrate this event, we anticipate this event, let's remember that this event isn't about the network. It's not about the distributors. It's not about promoters. It's about these 2 star fighters who have taken it upon themselves to accept the biggest challenges of their careers. We'll see you April 22nd.
Next, coming to the stage, President of Mayweather Promotions. He's Mr. Leonard Ellerbe.
Thank you, Brian. Really excited to be here today. Lots of sunshine in beautiful New York City. Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia. By far the biggest fight in the entire sport. I recall a couple years ago, I was in Miami for the Logan Paul Floyd exhibition, and I was standing outside the hotel, and Ryan approached me, and he came up to me and he said, "Look," he said, "I want to F your boy up." I said, "Look here, Slim, you don't want none of that work." You recall that conversation? And he went on to tell me, he said that's the fight that he really, really wanted. That's the only fight that he wanted. And this was a few years ago. And throughout everything, I believed him. When it comes to Tank Davis, Tank has been very, very adamant about getting this guy in the ring. When you got 2 young, undefeated guys coming together, it's going to be nothing but fireworks. And as Stephen just mentioned, you got to give all the credit to the 2 fighters. Because when it comes down to it, the fighters got to want it. It's not about the promoters at all because, you know, if it was up to his promoters, this fight would not be happening. So we got to give Ryan all the credit because he forced his promoters to make this fight. And that's why we're very, very excited because come April 22nd, it's going to be nothing but fireworks. And again, Tank Davis is going to go out there and show you why he's one of the best fighters in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Leonard. All right, let's meet the teams. Coming to the podium. By the way, congratulations, because he's one of the newest members of the International Boxing Hall of Fame. One of the best trainers around, Mr. Joe Goosen.
All right, I hope this mic doesn't act up on me. It's been acting up on everybody else tonight. How you doing, Tank? Good to see you. And your team, of course. What a great what's that? I'm sorry. What a great event this is going to be. I mean, it's already today is you know, this is when things become real when you get the 2 fighters together. and we have these press conferences, and you know, we've been training like Tank's been training, I'm sure, all along. But I think after this press conference, you know, you get a renewed invigoration for what we're doing here, because we know it's going to be a tough fight. You're a great fighter. You've already proved that. Ryan's a great fighter. I love working with him. And I just know you guys are going to put on a great show. I'm not going to say a lot more about it because, you know, everyone else has talked about these two men, and they're going to go down in history. They're going to make history on the 22nd. This is an incredible pairing of two guys at this level. You don't see it too often. And the fans that you don't want to miss that on this one. Like I say, there's certain pay-per-view shows that I pay-per-view. This would be one that I would not miss. I would plunk down the money for it because it's going to be that exciting and that good. You've got two of the greatest fighters of this era right now sitting at this dais. And I can't wait to be a part of it. I already am, but I can't wait for that night. So good luck to both of you guys. And I wish you all the best. All right.
All right. Joe Goosen, everybody. I'm looking forward to seeing what you're going to wear fight night because I know you're coming with some stuff. All right. Coming to the podium now, the pride of Baltimore. Of course, he runs that Upton gym there, the west side of Baltimore. He is the trainer of Gervonta Tank Davis, Mr. Calvin Ford.
Oh, man, here we go again, y'all. Ron, I want to thank you, man. I see you brought out the weapons. Joe, I can't wait to see what you're going to weigh, too. I showed my little youngins, and I like, yo, best dresser, coach, since the century. Y'all don't know how important this fight is, y'all. This Generation X, they bringing boxing back. Y'all got to feel this energy. Two great fighters, man. All the best companies. Y'all made it happen, man. Ron, for years, I sit back. I don't watch the fights. I sit back and watch all the interviews that you did with Tank. You kept talking. You kept talking. But you understood that you had to do what you had to do to become the man that you are today. Look at this. This fight ain't about us. It's about the next generation of boxers to come. To see two great young fighters undefeated, ready to do their thing. And I can't wait till that night to be on this level, boy, because guess what? After this fight, who's going to be sitting on that throne? Y'all get it? Passing of the torch. You got Golden Boy, GTD, better known as Mayweather's. You understand? We got love here, man. We got love. Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand. We've been waiting for something like this for years. This is the fight that's going to cost the other fighters the fight. To show y'all how it's done. And y'all jokers put it together. Man, y'all got me trembling. I can't wait for that night. Going against a great coach. That was smart. Go and get an old school coach. Got my man Bernard there. God, Tank, remember Bernard? When I first came home, I wanted to get in the ring with you. And I sit there and say, man, I can do it. You understand? You inspire me to be who I am as far as this boxer, man. You got to put that work in. Ron, we want that what you call it right there, little Elvis curl. We want that. But, hey, y'all got to embrace this energy right here. Because my man, you the king, but he's the savage of this thing. Y'all gonna get a great fight that night. Y'all ain't seen nothing. The best has come, man. I can't wait. Joe, thank you, man.
Thank you, Calvin.
Against the mind. Really appreciate it. Against the minds right here. We ready, ain't we, youngin? We ready? Let's do it. Thank you.
He's right. Got two of the best fighters in the sport of boxing, two of the best cornermen in this. It's going to be a hell of a night, April 22nd. Let's meet the fighters. Coming to the podium, man, we already talked about this guy. He's just exciting. He explodes off the screen when you see him in the ring. Unbeaten, 23-0, 19 knockouts. King Ryan himself. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Garcia.
Thank you guys for coming today. Sorry for the wait, but we're here now. Thank you. I want to thank Golden Boy Promotions, obviously GTD Promotions, Showtime, DAZN. We really came together and really conquered the poison that's been stopping boxing from having the biggest fights. It wasn't easy, but we found a way. This has been a fight that I've wanted for a very long time, and because for me, to be a champion, you have to beat the best. It's not about the titles. It's not about, like I said, the titles. It's about who you beat. And for me, it's a testimony to the respect I got for him as a fighter. To me, I believe he's one of the best, and I've had that type of mentality since I was a young kid. Growing up in the amateurs I never thought about the weight class. I only thought about who was in it, because I want to be the best. And during this whole journey, I definitely put boxing first and the fans first, because I had to accept a lot of stipulations. They know it, going down in weight, rehydration clause. I don't want to bring up too much, but those are the little things that I said to myself, you know what, if I put myself first, I should say no. But my heart don't let me. I got the character of a champion, and my power comes from within and from above. No matter what weight I'm down to, no matter what I have to do, my strength comes from here. I don't look like I hit hard, but I do hit hard. The punches, they just come quick, but when they hit you, you're just down. So I want to also, almost forgot, I want to thank Jesus Christ. Thank you so much. Glorious moment, I want to give it to Jesus. Thank you. Above all, April 22nd, this is the time where the words don't matter no more. The truth will come out. We're all about the truth. He's a great fighter. I'm a great fighter. We settle in the ring. Whoever wins holds the crown. Let's get it.
Love it. Coming to the podium now, another unbeaten, 28-0, 26 knockouts. He's embracing, because we're in New York City, his Joe Namath look. I like it. He calls himself the One. He's Gervonta Tank Davis.
Man, we back at it. This time we got another dance partner. You know what I mean? Coming up, I watch Floyd and Oscar. Also, Bernard Hopkins. You know what I mean? And Joe Goosen and things like that. And I know that, it's gonna be tough. You know what I mean? This fight gonna be tough. I feel as though that, this is what we came to do. You know what I mean? I've been boxing since I was 7 years old. I fought a lot coming up. So I'm just happy to be a part of this moment, sharing the ring with a young fighter like Ryan Garcia, that's willing to dare himself to be great. He talked his way into this fight, and April the 22nd, he's going to have to be able to show it. You know what I mean? I'm coming from, where I come from, Baltimore City, the inner city. A lot of people don't make it from there. So, again, I'm just happy to be a part of this fight. You know what I mean? This event. I want to thank Showtime, Al Heyman, Golden Boy, Ryan, Joe Goosen. You know what I mean? And I want to thank, God. You know what I mean? My personal team and things like that, because I couldn't have did this by myself. You know what I mean? I had a great team, a great personal team and things like that, as far as like my personal team, my coaches, my support system, and kept me up. You know what I mean? I've been, again, keeping my head down and stay grinding in and out the gym. You know what I mean? We had a lot of people that talked down on us and things like that, but we stay focused and keep our head down a little bit and continue to grind. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, that's what really matters. You know what I mean? So April the 22nd, Ryan and Gervonta, big event. Make sure y'all buy the pay-per-view. If y'all can't buy the pay-per-view, make sure y'all show up. You know what I mean? So thank y'all for having me, and see y'all April the 22nd.
All right, fellas, let's talk about this fight. That's what everybody came here to see. They see you guys, and they want to hear what you have to think about this fight. Tank, I'll start with you. We talked about how big this fight is, mega fight, super fight. Why don't you tell the people, in your opinion, why is this fight with you and Ryan so important to the sport?
I think it's important because both of us young. You know what I mean? I'm a little older than Ryan, but you know what I mean? I think that both of us at our peak. You know what I mean? A lot of young fighters don't fight each other, and I feel as though this is a stepping stone for, you know, the other younger fighters to get in the ring with each other. So I feel as though that, you know what I mean? We both made our name coming up. You know what I mean? The time is now. You know what I mean? Like I said before. He a great fighter. I'm a great fighter, and we put it all on the line. April the 22nd.
Ryan, same question. Why is this fight so important to the sport?
I mean, if you look at boxing in the position it is right now, it's been hard to get prime fighters together, right? It's usually too late, or you know, somebody's way past their prime. So this is a moment that I think boxing has been longing for a while. And it really is going to test where boxing's at, because you really can't make a bigger fight than this. So we're really going to see, you know, where boxing's at. They want to say boxing's dead. Well, we're about to see it, right? And I feel like this is the moment for both of us. This is a defining moment in our careers. This is legacy, right? And I think boxing has been longing for this. We finally got it, right? Two prime fighters together. Going at it, and this is the moment for both of us. Do we want it? Do we want the crown or not? That's really what it's about.
Tank, past couple of fights, you've talked about quieting the doubters and how some have criticized you for your choice of opponents, that you have been protected for all these years. Does all of that go away on April 22nd?
Hopefully, but they always find something else to say. So, I mean, like I said, all I got to do is keep my head down and continue to grind, beat whoever they put in front of me. And that's starting with Ryan Garcia.
Ryan, everyone I think in the sport knows how talented you are as a fighter. But I think there's some who criticize you only for the social media following that you have and maybe don't take you as serious. Does all that come to an end on April 22nd?
For sure, I believe so. Obviously, Tank has the image of a devastating puncher, dangerous, and to me, he's a great fighter. So within myself, I would know for sure what type of fighter I am. You understand? I've been doing this since I was, like himself, 7 years old, over 200 amateur fights. So this is what I've always wanted. This is it. Pay-per-view. This is all, you know, everybody's here. So for me, I think it's destroying the image of, you know, judging a book by its cover. It's easy. I'm an easy person to target when it comes to, you know, he's not serious. You know, he's doing TikToks, whatever. But I wouldn't be here if that was true. If that was my main focus, I wouldn't be on this stage. It's quite clear. So this is the fight right here. Whoever wins, all that goes away.
You know, Tank, fought Hector Garcia in January because he said, I want to stay busy. I want to make sure that going into the Ryan Garcia fight, I'm ready. You chose not to take a fight in the interim. Tell us why.
I just felt the struggles of making this fight and the things that had to be done, how long it was dragging out. I just didn't want to put that risk. And not for the loss, but you could hurt your hand, headbutts, a lot of different issues that could occur in a fight. So I chose not to secure this fight and make sure that it's guaranteed. I didn't wait that long just to mess it up at the finish line. So I made sure we got to the finish line. That's why I chose not to get a tune-up.
Tank, I want to talk to you about the fight. In the past, you've been known for taking your time when you fight a guy, see what he's going to bring, and then you get these late round stoppages. Does that change on April 22nd, considering now you're fighting a young guy who's got some powerful hands and usually brings it at the beginning of the fight?
It depends on what he bring that night. If he coming like fast or he's coming slow, then I might take. I always want to take my time. You know what I mean? But it all depends on Ryan Garcia, what he bring come April the 22nd.
Ryan, along those lines, you told the media, quote, I'm knocking Tank Davis out in 2 rounds. If he's a tank, I'm an RPG. Tell us why this is going to be an early stoppage, April 22nd.
You made that sound corny, man. Like, damn.
Should I try it again?
No, you're good. You're good. That was me. I said that, right?
Yeah.
When I say things like second round, you asked for a prediction, I gave you one. To me, I'm going to be ready for 12. You understand? And you have to respect the fighter going in. You can't just jump in and try to get a knockout. I mean, it's quite clear. Anybody with a strategic mind would think that. So for me, it might be more of a thinking fight than people may believe. With different opponents, you got to approach it different ways. When he's in front of you and you see what he's attempting, it might not make you take that shot, or you might have to make adjustments on the way. There's a lot of little interests in fights that cause you to make adjustments. So I don't know how I'm gonna come out. Like I said, it's a dance.
They say he was talking out the ass. That's what he was doing. He was talking out the ass.
Hey, someone got to promote it. I was here on time, right?
That's cool. You supposed to be like that.
What do you mean?
You supposed to be like that.
I don't understand. What do you mean by that? I'm supposed to be like that. Yeah. I'm professional. I am.
That's cool.
So Tank, he's wanted this fight a long time. There's an old adage: be careful what you ask for. What is he getting April 22nd?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
There's an old adage, you got to be careful what you ask for when you want something. So what is Ryan Garcia getting on April 22nd?
An ass whooping. That's what he's getting.
We'll wrap it up with this. Ryan, for that sold-out arena and those thousands of people who are going to pay hard-earned money, those people who are going to pay their hard-earned money for Showtime pay-per-view, what can you guarantee they're going to get on April 22nd when you step into the ring with Gervonta Davis?
I'll guarantee you a classic. It's going to be a classic fight. I'll guarantee that. You're going to remember this for a long time. That's it.
Tank Davis, same question. For those folks who are going to pay their hard-earned money, come out to Las Vegas or order the fight on Showtime pay-per-view, what can you guarantee they're going to get when you face Ryan Garcia?
Explosive fight. 2 young guys that's hungry. You know what I mean? It's just who won them all. Who built like that, that's who gonna win. That's who gonna really win. Nobody can fight for him. Nobody can fight for me. It's about who really won it, who really got that dog in them. That's who gonna win.
That's your quote. Who's gonna win? The person who's built like that. That's what's going down April 22nd when these 2 unbeaten explosive fighters go at it in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas. Again, it comes your way on Showtime pay-per-view. Tickets go on sale. That is Friday, March 10th. They can be purchased through AXS.com. The pre-sale tomorrow. Just make sure you use the code BOXING. Gentlemen, let's have a face-off. Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia. Right up front. Right up front. Just the two fighters. Just the two fighters. Just the two fighters, please.
Gentlemen, nobody behind, please. Clear from behind, guys. Thank you.
It's on.
Oscar, please. Thank you. Thank you. Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you.
The Godzilla fight.
Okay, fellas, look out.
Great job.
Cameras in the back. Okay, boys, cameras in the back. Look out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oscar?
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, no. Pass it on. Thank you. Thank you, man. No, you've done it. I'm trying. Let's not let that slip by when you're saying those things about me. Sometimes they don't understand the things that go through the I really appreciate it.
Great moment. Step out front for a corner with us.
Thank you. All right, Cal.
Okay, guys.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out. There you have it. Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, April 22nd from Las Vegas.
My man, great job. Thank you. We'll send you down.
Icy, the stare down, the extended conversation between Gervonta Tank Davis and King Ryan Garcia just behind us. Brian Campbell, Luke Thomas back with you. We'll be chatting with Gervonta Davis in just a matter of moments. But Luke, your reaction to the extended stare down, a little jaw jacking between them.
That's what I was waiting for since I got up this morning to take the train here. That was what I was waiting for. We said, were they going to talk to each other? They almost didn't. And then when they did, BC, now I'm not a professional lip reader, but it looked like what Tank Davis was saying to Ryan, because I couldn't see Ryan's face. But it looked like Tank Davis was saying to him, you not that guy. So I'd be curious to ask him about it when he comes up on here. But that was fun, to say the least.
Intensity high. The tension was there. Little, accusations from Ryan Garcia about the professionalism. You, of course, had Tank Davis saying it'll come down to the dog at the end of the day as the separation between them come 45 days from now at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas and only on Showtime pay-per-view. And we have the one right here.
Charm City's finest.
Tank Davis. And Tank, let's be honest. Did Did they give you the wrong time for the start of the presser, or are you already in Ryan Garcia's head?
No, it just I'm sorry about that too. I ain't even been asleep. I've been running around all day. You know what I mean? I definitely apologize to all the guys that made this happen. Al Heyman, Steve Espinoza, Eva Golden Boy, and Mayweather Promotions. You know what I mean? Even the media for having them waiting and things like that. But I don't want to make no excuses. That's all on me. I definitely try to better myself and make sure I prepare myself more ahead of time. You know what I mean? But
well, let me ask you. It looked like during the face-off, I couldn't see his face because I was standing here, but it looked like you were saying to him, "You're not that guy." Is that what you said?
I think I said he. I don't know. No, I ain't say he's not that guy.
All right, what was said? Because that face-off got us fired up just a few feet away over here. What was said between the two of you up there?
I mean, he just said what he said, and I said that he ain't like that. I know. Like, I don't want to say like be this tough guy, but I know what it take, man. And some of these guys don't got it. They got it. They front runners. They played that tough guy role, but they ain't really too much like got that dog in them.
I mean, can you tell the aura of another man in a face-off? Is it a preview of what you're going to see in the ring at all?
I mean, not really, because they can. I mean, it can switch up, but you get that feeling. You get that feeling if the next fighter, really coming for sure. You'll get it.
Tank, winner of this fight, are they the face of boxing? It's an unofficial title, but still.
I feel as though I'm the face of boxing right now.
Already.
In that jacket you are, I'll tell you that much.
No, I just think I'm the face of boxing. It's like, I mean, you gotta look at it. Like, I don't want to be too cocky, but it's a lot of fighters that if you watch, they do everything I do. It's something like when Floyd was coming through. It's something like when Oscar was coming through. It's something that you can't teach. It's just in you. You know what I mean? It's something like when Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali and, you know what I mean, all the greats was coming through. Everybody wanted to be like that. That's why a lot of people call my name. They ain't calling it because they want to get in there. It's also they want to get in there, but it's also like envy too. They want my spot and things like that. So that's what keep me on my game. You know what I mean? That's what made me back into like the. It's not about the money no more. It's about showing these guys that they ain't really like that, and guys that want my spot. I'm here to stay. You know what I mean? And that's what it is.
Tank, you said if there's a difference between the two of you, ultimately April 22nd when you meet in the ring, T-Mobile Arena, that it would be the dog that you have inside of you, and we've seen that played out before in big-time fights. Skills-wise, though, is he on your level?
You know the answer.
I got to ask you that, okay? No one cares about my opinion.
Nah, I don't think skill-wise he's on my level. But things can change. I don't want to be like this guy that's like, I'm so above people. You know what I mean? I got to still respect him as a fighter. But as far as, as a fighter, I feel as though he's not on my level as far as skills.
In terms of that dog, though, he got knocked down by Luke Campbell and then rallied and then stopped him. What do you take from that experience?
I feel as though Luke Campbell just threw a shot that he didn't even know he was going to catch him with, and Luke Campbell don't have like, I don't want to talk down, but Luke Campbell ain't somebody that's really like going bite down and get gritty. You know what I mean? So I feel as though even like when what's his name?
Which guy?
He caught Floyd.
Marcos Maidana?
No.
Baldemir?
Shane Mosley?
No.
Chop Corley?
Chop. It's like when Chop caught Floyd. He really didn't have enough to like stop Floyd. Once he caught him, he looked at him like, you know what I mean? Like, I caught Floyd, and not try to get to the end of it. You know what I mean? So I feel as though that was something like how Luke Campbell was, and Ryan do have skills enough to, you know what I mean, to recover. He took a shot, he got back up, and you know what I mean, he got the work. You know what I mean? I feel as though that it was somewhat like he bounced back like a champ. I guess.
All right, he's going to have a 4.5-inch height reach over you, a slight reach advantage, but it's there. I know you're going to say, I fought tall fighters before, and you have. So what makes Ryan Garcia different in terms of danger from other opponents you faced?
Danger. He got speed. Nice power. That's about it. He got speed, he got power.
Got a lot of followers on Instagram, too.
Yeah, he got a lot of Instagram followers, but they can't fight for him. That's what I just was telling them up there. They can't fight for you. Oscar can't fight for you. Bernard Hopkins can't fight for you. Your coach can't fight for you. You notice he even got his girl with him. He got his girl with him.
What does that say to you?
This is one of the toughest fights of his life. And he got his girl with him.
It is New York City. It's a nice place to see.
I mean, still, man, this business. This is a hurt business. You know what I mean? This is a hurt business. You leave the kids and the women's at home. It's time to pin and work.
You know, it's interesting. You said you're already the face of boxing. So let me ask you, what does a victory do for you? What does it add to what you've already gotten?
It get me over that hump. It get me over that hump. It's mainly so trying to break numbers, you know what I mean? Trying to mark my stepping grounds for real. Just become that guy. You know what I mean? It's a lot of thought up in the air, and you know what I mean. But it's time to make this my home. The whole boxing world. Make this my home. I'm here to stay.
Tank, I've followed both of your careers very closely, and in my opinion, it's clear. For Ryan Garcia, you're the toughest, the most difficult opponent he has yet to face as a professional. Is that true in your opinion on the flip side for you? Is he the toughest opponent you will have faced?
He's definitely the toughest opponent I can't say that yet. But on paper, I feel as though, yes. When I'm preparing for a fight, I say yes. Okay. You know what I mean? I can't really say just yet because I didn't share the ring with him. I'm for sure. I watch his fight. I know that he's a sound fighter, but I just don't know just yet till I share the ring with him.
Sure.
Can this fight do 1 million pay-per-view buys?
I think more.
You think more?
More.
What's the highest you think it could go?
The highest? I'm really not for sure the highest, but I feel
not a lot in boxing history go past 2 million. That's a hard hurdle to clear.
2 million?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Shit, we pushing for 2 million. 2.1. Hopefully, man. I'm just ending the, you know what I mean, the break numbers, man. If we can break numbers, I'm all for it, and I'm willing to do whatever to break them numbers.
Also, a small part of you, like, you excited to headline in Vegas? That's always like a thing, right?
Yeah, I never headlined in Vegas for a fact. And I remember, and the crazy thing, I remember actually going to a Floyd versus Cotto fight. And after the fight, how so many celebrities was out just walking around, just like leaving from the fight. I was like, it's crazy. You know what I mean? I always use that as motivation. It's like, even like I just went to the Super Bowl and I watched Rihanna perform, and just how she can have like the whole, like, it's like controlling the crowd, things like that. Like, that really excite me. That really give me like that drive to, like, that's what I want. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure Ryan want that too. So that's definitely put a battery in our back to keep pushing forward.
You came out to the ring in D.C. with Shy Glizzy. What's the plan for April 22nd?
I don't know.
Do you have one yet? Are you still working on it?
No, I don't have one yet. I don't really get into that till like probably like till it's like time to get into it. Like
oh, you gotta hurry up and make your ring walk. So like, you know what I mean? I really like to focus on the fight. You know what I mean? I'm definitely focused on like training. I'm actually worrying about when he's training, when he's not training, things like that. You know, so.
Tank, I want to close with this because you hear people say often in sports, it's really 90% mental at the end of the day. And some people say Tank Davis so talented. Even if he beats Ryan Garcia, maybe his toughest opponent is himself. Sometimes your name could be in different headlines. You can have distractions outside of the ring, core issues, what have you. How do you remain that focused, especially with this being such a dangerous fight?
Because I know I'm not what they portray me to be. Even like when they blow it out and blow it out proportion and things like that, I try to I'm close with my loved ones, like the people that actually like will be there if something ever to happen. You know what I mean? So they keep me like keep me humble and things like that. So I'm not too much of that bother me. It do bother me, but I have a great support system that help me that keep me focused. And again, I feel as though I'm not what the people portray me, and a lot of people don't get enough of me, you know what I mean? So they go off of what other people say about me or whatever this and the headline that day or whatever come out about me, you know what I mean? So people don't really see me that much on Instagram or they probably see me talk crazy on Twitter. But
we see you on crazy on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. But I'm only on Twitter when I'm in in camp.
He's the master of, what do you call that, post and go?
Post and go.
Yeah.
He deletes it. Yeah.
I mean, I only delete it because, again, I still be trying to get like endorsements and stuff like that. And after I say what I say, it's like it's over. I don't want to keep going back and forth. And I might be mad at that moment and not be mad no more.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
We have to get out of here. Last one for
Yes,
me.
sir.
I asked Calvin Ford the same question, which was, some athletes, some boxers are real big on visualization. Some aren't. But about you, have you seen what this fight looks like in your mind? And if so, what is that?
Yes, I picture it. I picture it both ways, to be honest. But the way why I say I picture it both ways to keep my mind sharp, to make sure I don't just focus on one thing and that's winning. You know what I mean? I wanna try to focus on if he's in the lead. You know what I mean? I want to focus on all, so I could be able to handle it when it comes. You know what I mean? So I feel as though I try to be realistic with myself.
Fair enough.
45 more days, Tank. Saturday, April 22nd, Showtime pay-per-view. We can't wait. We wish you luck. Great to see you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Gervonta Tank Davis, the one, 28-0, 26 KOs. This date cannot come fast enough.
Yeah, this today delivered.
A lot of fashion statements today from Gervonta's jacket. Did you like Leonard Ellerbe's new beard?
I do like Leonard Ellerbe's new beard because, you know me, the gray has taken me.
You refused to dye that up
It took me, and I just didn't fight it. And I'm glad he's not fighting it as well. He looks debonair, if I do say so myself.
Always well manicured there in the suit. All right. We were able to chat with so many ahead of this fight. The trainers, the networks, the fighters themselves. I couldn't be any more excited.
Let's remind folks, March 10th. Tickets go on sale at AXS.TV. March 10th, you can get tickets. And, folks, probably a good chance this one's going to sell out.
Yeah.
So get them while you can.
And don't forget, tomorrow is day 2 of this press tour.
That's right.
Today on the East Coast, Times Square, New York City. Tomorrow, Los Angeles. 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern on the Showtime Sports YouTube channel. Wraparound coverage of day 2 of the press tour. Tank, King Ryan, it's all going down for real. 45 more days. Saturday, April 22nd, T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, Showtime pay-per-view. This was Luke Thomas. I still am Brian Campbell. We are the co-hosts of the Showtime Sports award-winning digital combat sports series, Morning Combat. You can check us out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern on YouTube. But for now, it's time to just continue to bang that drum, ring that bell. It's going to be a big one, April 22nd. I can't wait. Thank you for joining us. It's coming. Enjoy the fights. Gervonta Tank Davis, King Ryan Garcia, 45 more days. We'll see you there in Las Vegas.
Davis hurt Garcia. Now we look forward to Ryan Garcia. Is that your plan, and is it on track?
I'm ready.
This sets the stage to face Ryan Garcia in what is a mega fight.
Tank wants to rumble. I just want to get that on already.
He's hungry, for sure. I'm hungry. Both of us in our prime.
They want to fight each other. In Ryan Garcia's case, he said, no, I need this fight. They want the smoke.
It's going to have that type of thrill and atmosphere.
He's been training, he's been talking. Let's see who's really about that.
Every time Tank fights, we all know what to expect.
Serious power.
Here's what makes Tank great.
Lethal left. Hernandez back to the ropes. Left hand. And that's it.
How about that speed and length of Garcia?
Oh, there go the legs. And the game boy.
Insanely fast hand.
And down he goes.
But against Tank, is he still going to have that forward pressure strategy?
Everybody's going to think somebody's going to win more than the other.
We got a task in front of us. We coming to get you.
We're going to be ready.
The mega fight, Tank's power, with Ryan, his hand speed. Won't that be something?
I want to leave an impression every time I step in that ring.
I want jaws to drop when they hear I'm fighting. We're on to the next, man. Ready for a ride.
Davis versus Garcia.
When you're authentic to who you are, everything else will fall in place. People are gonna love, they're gonna hate, but you never know who's watching.
Everything I do, I want it to be as original as can be.
Somebody did it like this, I'm gonna do it this much iller. Who comes back and rescues himself?
This was our moment to let people know how we felt as a team.
We've revolutionized this game with our influence.
They're coming for the belt, and they're coming for the bag.
They're all about knocking each other out of the tournament.
Yes, I'm on a mission. The $1 million Bellator Lightweight Grand Prix begins with a monster match. Undefeated 24-year-old champ Usman Nurmagomedov makes his first title defense against 30-win veteran Benson Henderson.
Oh,
I'm a certified winner. Bellator MMA, Friday on Showtime.
I've been investigating Ghostface attacks. He's here in New York.
Hello, Gail. Did you miss me?
You want to try and finish this? Go ahead.
I'm something different.
We've got to lure him in. We execute him.
Scream, only in theaters March 10th.